Yo guys, welcome back to Off the Canvas Boxing. Hopefully you guys can hear me all good. Let's just wait a minute. I think my internet's fairly poor, so it's not showing a couple of things. How is everybody doing? Let me know. And then we'll get started in about a minute. How are you? How's everybody doing? Hold on. Let me just sort something out. All right. That's better. Cool. Hold on. We have a comment from the get-go from Untraceable Don. He says it looks like he's gonna have to. Okay, so this is the response to the question. This is the response to the question I asked. Where is the question? The question I asked is 80-20 split. Deal or no deal? Before we get started, let's just wait a couple more minutes as well. I can't forget one thing as well. Forgot the banner. Oops, wrong one. That's the right one. See, we're moving up in this world. Big up everybody. We're starting in a minute. Yeah, YouTube notifications are mad, you know. Like I think one time I pressed notification or something. Yeah, this time there it came out like 5-10 minutes ago. I was like, "Flood, what's going on?" But we move, we carry on. Also, as well, guys, Man United just lost to Wolves. That is mad. That is mad. Let me know where you guys are coming in from as well. We're live on Twitch, we're live on Twitter, and we're live on what's the other thing we're live on? We're live on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. Come on. Big up, big up, big up. Also, as well, guys, a bit of an announcement, sort of. Oh yeah, big up you man I done for as well. Come on, absolutely. Let me know if you guys are getting the feedback all good as well. And yeah, if you guys can share it across all your platforms, that will be amazing. Okay, I've done it. I've done it on my Twitter, so if you guys can follow me on my Twitter, which is right below. I think that's the right one. I spelled official wrong. Hold on. I just clocked. Yo, I spelled official wrong. That is mad. Anyway, search for me on Twitter. You'll find me 100%. Yo, I can't believe I looked at it. I was like, rah, I spelled official wrong. Okay. Boom. Without further ado, just bear with me. We'll touch up. Actually, you know what, buddy? Let's touch upon that now before we get started. Yeah. Also, one more thing as well. Actually, we'll talk about that before we get into the subjects, okay? With that's boxing related, okay? But Lukaku, See, he snaked it, you know. He really snaked it. Like, I was rooting for him from the get go, even from the days of Jose when he was in the Super Cup and I knew Drogba was leaving. I saw him. I was like, you know what? He plays very similarly. And I said, you and even Lukaku was turning around and saying things like, I looked up to Didier, and I was just like, yo, this guy, like, I wish he could have become something big at Chelsea. He left, boom. All right, I was like, you know, it is what it is. Like, some people cut it, some people don't. Yeah, but especially from 2017 after Diego Costa, I was like, you know what, we need Lukaku, like we need somebody up front. Okay, since that time, because all of our strikers have been pretty poor since then. Okay, we've had Giroud, Tammy Abraham, like it's been dead. Yeah, since Diego Costa's gone, it's been crap. Yeah, in comes in Lukaku. Yeah, I'm gassed. I'm like, yo, the boy is returning home. This guy is about to show the Premier League. Yeah, Lukaku is about to take things to another level. He's been in the Premier League. He's scored a lot of goals in the Premier League. He's the difference between us becoming a top four team and a Champions League team. All the right stuff was being said. My man saying, "Yo, you know, I can't. I've got unfinished business." All the whole shenanigans. When I saw those comments at first, okay, when I saw half of them, I was like, maybe I think people are overreacted. I started reading it, but I said maybe people are overreacted. It's not that, bruv. When I started reading a bit more, he was cussing Tuchel and he was cussing into Milan. I said, this brother, I just feel cheated on. I feel cheated on. That's that's what it feels like to me. It feels like I put faith in somebody that's come back and said, "Nah, but you lot, I don't have faith in you as well." And it's just annoying. Like I had faith in him, and he just done that. He snaked us. Now you know his position is no longer untenable. He has to go, and there's been a lot of plays at the club prior to that. Back in the day, from Hazard to Thibaut Courtois to who else? But there's a Willian. There's a bag of players here. Diego Costa. Listen, you can rattle the names to the cows come home. Okay, of players and footballers that have come to Chelsea, disrespected the manager, and all of a sudden play a revolt, and the manager's gone. Now I'm glad that everybody's supporting Thomas Tuchel, yeah, because like, yeah, this guy is like he would just want us to Champions League, and I'll take Tuchel side over Lukaku side because I don't think Lukaku will help us with the Champions League, but I know Tuchel has already done it, so it is what it is. Okay, so but Lukaku's a snake. I think we should get rid of him. I think he should be benched until somebody puts in an offer or play with the under 23s. And if he does a public apology, that's a start, but he has to apologize to the fans first and gain their support. Otherwise, I'm not hearing it from him. Okay, Sin. Tuchel is fake. Rongo, his system doesn't suit a target man. Do you know what it does and it doesn't. It does and it doesn't. In the sense where when Giroud was playing it last year, when it like yeah, not Tabby because Tabby barely moved. Okay, so and he was barely in the right positions. He was always all over the place. He's offside. He's all over the place. Yeah, but Giroud when he was playing, it all worked. Everything was flowing. The problem is that with Giroud, he had a good touch. He had good finishing. All of that, but he didn't have enough pace, he didn't have enough intensity, and that's where things became a bit more sour. So that's why I thought, you know what, we need somebody like Giroud, but a little bit quicker, etc. People like a Haaland or these sort of players, or I don't know, somebody like a Lukaku would have helped. But I think the system is perfect, man. I think the system is perfect. I think everything is ready to go, but I think Lukaku hasn't gelled with the players that are playing behind him, and I partly blame the players behind Tuchel for the dysfunction up front over the players over Lukaku himself. That's in my opinion. because I think Lukaku, and this is how I see it, I think Lukaku, he could score in pretty much a lot of systems, and he's done that this season at Chelsea. But it's a sad reality. Tuchel needs an Aguero type striker. That would help out a significant. That would help out a lot more. It'll be a better fix, but I don't think Lukaku is necessarily a bad fix. I think Lukaku is a great fix. He is just the players next to him, the Pulisic's or Ziyech's or Mount and these kind of guys. They're just like any striker that you put out front with these guys aren't going to score goals for some weird reason. These guys are not prolific creators or etc. So, from my standpoint, I just clocked. Hold on, bear with me. I think my visuals have gone down a bit. I think it's getting better. Just bear with me. It should be getting better, right? Let's just. Oh, I clocked. I know what's going on. Sorry, guys. I know exactly what's going on. Hold on. All right, we are back. Clocked it. I've clocked it this time, okay? Hold on. Last week when I tried it, yeah, when I tried that method, I thought, what's going on? It's the way I connected my internet. My internet, I connected it to my Wi-Fi at first, or my data at first, but I didn't connect to my Wi-Fi. It's a whole technical story, but we got that bit sorted off. You're right. Don't get many assists. That's the truth. Creativity is a lack of problem. Mason Mount, his creativity isn't up to scratch this season. Ziyech isn't up to scratch this season. The only player that I could think that will be up to scratch is Timo Werner, but Timo Werner's been injured, so that's the part. That's the problem. Havertz and Lukaku can't play with each other. It's a bit all over the place. Do you know what? I don't blame it on Tuchel because how many plays can you get in one window? He's only had one window. Just don't forget, he's had Lukaku. He's only bought like two players. Lukaku, no, three plays. Sorry, two or three. I can't remember. Malagzar was bought by Frank, but he bought two. He bought the midfielder in Sao, and he bought Lukaku. And circumstances didn't really work out, so I can't really stick on Tuchel too much. But yeah, don't get many assists. But without further ado, let's get cracking, guys. Apologies for the whole technicals, okay? Let's get cracking. Boom. Okay. Today, we're only talking about one man here. Deal or no deal. 80% deal. I'm going to speak for a bit, and then you guys will have the floor. Okay. I'll let you guys have your opinions, etc. And you guys can, in the comments or when I share it, you guys can let me know if you guys agree or disagree with what I'm talking about. Okay. Dillian Whyte. If some of you guys have been living under a rock, last week the WBC have stated that Dillian Whyte versus Tyson Fury, the purse bids split is 80-20 in favor of Tyson Fury. And the date for the split, or the date for the purse bid, is January 11th, 2021. So it's in 7-8 days from now. Okay. Next Tuesday, that's when the purse bid split is going to take place. Now, this has caused a lot of controversy in the sport of boxing for multiple different reasons. Okay, first and foremost, according to the WBC, rule book, according to their guidelines and their own policies, etc., their split for the mandatory challenger is 70-30 in favor of the champion. Okay, the split for the interim belt holder or interim champion is 45-55 in favor of the champion. Okay, this is where it is a bit more, it's a bit techie, because them offering 80-20 for an interim champion who is eligible for 60, well, not 60-40, but 55-45 percent of the whole of the purse, is what's caused a lot of people some frustrations with the WBC. And this has come under after 3 years or 2-3 years worth of Dillian Whyte waiting for the WBC to just get their stuff together. Okay, he's waited well over 1,000 days. I think it's 1,100 days for the title shot. The title shot was due 2 years ago, coming up to 2 years now. That's when the mandatory should have been fulfilled, and it's been over coming up to 2 years now. This February will be 2 years from that date. So he received the 80-20. Some people are saying take it, some people say don't. Now I'm going to present to you the facts, and I'm going to give you my opinion of what Dillian should do. Okay. Now, right now, the offer is 80-20, and these are the options: 80-20, or you walk away and you say no to the deal. But right now, Dillian, he has to face a harsh reality in this. Time doesn't wait for nobody. Time doesn't wait for a single person. Okay? Dillian Whyte is 33 years of age. He's at the prime of his career, I would say. He has looked the best he's looked was against Povetkin last year. Povetkin, Povetkin in 2019 and Povetkin in 2020 and 2021. Okay, that's when he's looked at his best in terms of just the skill, his physicality, the athleticism. That's when he's looked at his physical peak. I know some people are questioning whether Alexander Povetkin isn't the top level opponent. Especially during the second time, he looked like he was on his last legs. Nevertheless, Dillian Whyte was, in terms of himself, was as best as I've ever seen him. Okay, he's in the most peakest physical condition at this moment in time. But, and this is the but. Okay, the deal that's put on the table is an unacceptable deal. It's a deal that they're trying to mock him. They're just mocking it, man. They're really mocking it with that deal. 80-20, when in their rule book, he's eligible pretty much 45% of the first bid because he's interim champion. And if you go on across all the rankings, on any website from BoxRec to Ring IQ, whatever, not Ring IQ, I think it's Ring TV magazine or whichever website that posts the rankings, Dillian Whyte is stated as the interim champion. Okay, so he's eligible for I know some people say 70-30 minimum. No. Bun all of that, yeah. We're going to keep it real. He's eligible for 45% of the purse bid. So if he's eligible for 45% of the purse bid, I'm not hearing the 70-30 nonsense. Okay, 80-20 is really mocking him. But with Dillian, it's either he takes the deal, okay, or he can oppose the deal, okay. Last man, he could do a Muhammad Ali. When Muhammad Ali was drafted to the I think it's the Vietnam War, okay, or to be called for military services, he declined, okay, and I think it was the government or the boxing commission out there in the US decided to remove his license. His boxing license was taken away from him. Okay, so he could be doing a Muhammad Ali and try to change the sport for the better. He could try to become an activist and say, you know what, we're doing this. We're Not no more of this harsh treatment. Like right now, I want what's fair to me and what's rightly owed to me, given the length of time that I was waiting for. Number one. Number two, given the fact that I'm interim champion. Okay, for those two reasons alone, 45% is more than compensatable. Okay, compensatable, is that a word? I don't know. You don't look it up and let me know. Okay, so he could try to battle with with WC like Ali did with the government, and turn around and say you guys are doing nonsense, and all of a sudden try to get the WBC to change their rules to not even change the rules to be fair, but have a platform or a way that the WBC can stick to their rules. And if they don't, then they will be penalized. Maybe a world governing body. I know Ade Oladipo, shout him out. Subscribe to his channel as well. Close to 30k. It's mad. I can. I'm 320 subs and I'm shouting out, man. That's got close to 30k. But still subscribe if you haven't done it already. Okay, to them, man. Okay, to Ade Oladipo. Okay, and Undefeated podcast as well. With regards to Dillian, he could set the trend and say, you know what, he could take it on the chin. I'm not fighting for it, and just do a massive campaign against WPC and take them down. So any fighter coming after him, from the fighters that he manages to Babic's and whoever that he manages as well, Yusuf Kamari, can bear the fruits of the foundation that he set. Okay, like some sort of boxing activist. Okay, but having said that, if he turns into this guy,
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
He's got to bear in mind that he's going to be back of the queue. He's going to be back of the queue. What does that mean? If he doesn't fight Tyson Fury and doesn't accept that 80-20, chances are he's not going to be eligible for a title shot, especially with the WBC, for the next 3 years at a bare minimum. 3 years, okay? That's like 6 to 8 fights in the future, okay? So, with regards to Dillian Whyte, in my opinion, and this is just in my opinion, some people are going to disagree. Some people are going to say I'm absolutely nuts. But with regards to Dillian, I strongly believe, okay, that in the essence of deal or no deal, 80-20, deal or no deal, no Edmonds, Dillian Whyte should take the deal. Dillian Whyte should take the deal. Otherwise, number one, Tyson Fury is going to retire by the end of this year. That's an OTC prediction. If you haven't watched that, my OTC predictions, check that video out. Okay, it's up on the channel. I think I dropped it a couple of days ago. Okay, Fury's going to retire, by the end of the year, maybe early next year at a bare minimum. Okay, he's in his prime. So by the time he gets the title shot, he's not going to be in his prime. He's going to be past it. He may, grab a vacant belt, but he's not going to fight Tyson Fury at Tyson Fury's best anytime soon. Also, given the way the WBC have run, they're going to push him to the side even more. At any given opportunity, they have shafted him to the side and denied him any advantages in negotiations, any advantages in the time frame, in how long things should take for him to become a mandatory. You see how quick it was for Tyson Fury to get the WBC to speed up their protest and speed up their purse bid date to January the 11th. Okay, but Dillian Whyte has waited 2-3 years to even get a mandatory date for the mandatory fight is absolutely obscene, or even a date to commence purse bids for the mandatory fight. He's waited 3 years, and Tyson Fury has waited less than a month. You know how mad that sounds? Do you know how mad that sounds? Yo, yeah. So the WBC are playing against him. The WBC, I'm gonna like you lot see, man. Come on, the WBC are playing against him. Yeah, you see this. You will see this. Okay. So right now, in my opinion, factor with all those things combined, if Dillian Whyte's objective is to challenge for the world title, as that's his primary objective, and his secondary objective is to make money, he should take this fight. He should take this fight. The 80-20. I know it's it's a BS offer, but it is what it is. Okay, you just got sometimes you just got to suck it up and just take it on the chin. I think George Cambosis Jr. done the same thing. He waited a couple of months for the mandatory position to be filled. Not mandatory position, the mandatory to be called, and it was going to purse bids, and then Triller pulled out, etc. This pulled out. He waited a considerable amount of time. So when it comes to the purse bid, you just gotta take it, man. It is what it is. Tyson Fury is gonna retire. If you beat Tyson Fury, you're in the driver's seat. Anyone that tried to challenge for the WBC title, other than the unification bout, not even 80-20, bro. 99-1. Do what you like afterwards. Do what you like. But in this particular circumstance, where you're fighting for a world title, take what's on the table, in my opinion. Okay? And let me know what you guys think as well. You man are done for. I agree. Dillian must need to sacrifice himself for the greater good. It might have to be that sacrificial lamb. The thing is, right? I hate injustices. I really do hate injustices, okay? But there's a time to be Malcolm X's of the world, and there's a time to just be a follower. And right now, I think Dillian Whyte has to suck it up for the greater good, because he could try to be this, hero and try to be Ali, etc. But in my opinion, that's not going to get to you. It's not going to get you a world title shot. It's going to get you brownie points in the public's eye, but it's not going to get you a title shot. That's in my opinion. So it's a sad reality, but it is what it is. Yeah. What else could he do? Fight the arbitrators, and then what? They'll drag it out even longer. They may get an extra 5-10%, but after that, the WBC has you know what, with the WBC, they can still F him up afterwards. So he's backed up into a corner. It's a sad reality. I know it's a sad reality. You man done for again. If Fury vacates or retires, it hurts his legacy. AJ will be number one in this generation by default. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Because I put Fury as number one. Actually, let's touch it. Let's read it. Let me read it again. Let me touch it properly. You man done for. If Fury vacates, it hurts his legacy. AJ will be number one in this generation by default. Not necessarily true. Because I had Tyson Fury at number one at the point of AJ losing to Usyk. It was an automatic number one slot. It's a bit like if you had, let's just say you had, I don't know, two AJ or Tyson Fury at the top, and they were both winning, and they were both, beating top 10 level guys, and all of a sudden, Tyson Fury retires from the sport of boxing. Who would I put as number one? Anthony Joshua. It's by default. I can't put Usyk ahead of Tyson Fury because Tyson Fury has done more than Usyk done at heavyweight. See, Usyk beating Anthony Joshua is as if Usyk just beaten Vladimir Klitschko. Okay, and that's very similar to what Tyson Fury did. The difference is Tyson Fury beat Deontay Wilder, Chisora. Well, they both beat Chisora, but he's beaten a couple of other men. It's not a lot, but just a couple of other men, and that's what makes Tyson Fury. That's what gives him the slight edge, okay, over Alexander Usyk. But it's an interesting discussion. It's a very interesting discussion with regards to Fury and where people rank him, etc. If he vacates or retires, it doesn't hurt his legacy in terms of how good he was, but it hurts the perception of him. Because legacy is what I don't know. Does it hurt your legacy? I don't know. It's a great question. That is a great question. Would it hurt his legacy? Somebody let me know. Because yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not 100% sure. But my opinion and also actually, bruv, I completely forgot. I completely forgot the finances. Goodness gracious me. Yeah, hold on. And the American audience, I've got a bone to pick with a lot of them. I've got a bone to pick. Yeah, I was watching Michelle Joy Phelps's recent, um, was it a live with a few members of her staff, okay, and it was her, and it was about two other ladies who one of them worked with ESPN and worked in the UK. The other one was a former athlete, etc. And I was listening to them. They were saying, "Yeah, Dillian Whyte," and this is perception. And I was hearing it a couple of times, and maybe I thought it was just me, but a lot of people have been saying in the American side that Dillian Whyte has been pricing himself out. Dillian Whyte's asking for too much. He should just accept what he's been given. Okay, be grateful for the opportunity. All of this malarkey. I'm sitting there thinking, hold on a minute, what's going on here? Yeah, the Dillian Whyte is not a draw in America. Yeah, this. Hold on, let me close my door. Hold on. I just clocked. Bear with me. I'm wearing my pajamas, by the way, guys. Yeah, if you haven't clocked it, yeah. Anyway, bruv, I completely forgot as well. Bruv, I'm forgetting a bag of things, yeah. I need a PA. Anybody wants to be a PA, shout me, yeah? Boom. Yeah. If you guys haven't subscribed, subscribe to Off the Cameras Boxing. A lot of people aren't subscribed or watching. It's a common thing, to be fair. I clocked it. It happens with a bag of creators. I was like, right, only 27% are subscribed. What's going on? And then the next man said to me, yeah, 95% on subscribe. I said, bloody hell. Yo, I think it's pretty good ratio. I just clocked. Like, some people are 60-40, like the proper interactive channels, like the 60-40, some of them. Anyway, subscribe, guys. It helps out a lot. Also, share it, the channel across all your social media platforms, guys. Tag me in. That would be amazing. And back to the American audience, okay? When I was listening to the boxing fans from the across the pond, and I was hearing them from even the new members of staff in Michelle's team, the pro athlete, the former pro athlete in Michelle's team, that lovely lady, I forgot her, her name, who used to work for ESPN, or they're both lovely ladies as well, but the one that used to work in ESPN, who flies from US to LA, saying that I agree wholeheartedly with what Bob Arum's saying, and I'm sitting there thinking, hold on a minute, Bob Arum is the last person I would agree with. Hold on. If Bob Arum said to me, yo, like those lights, you got lights on your wall, yeah? I'll just say to him, yo, but Bob, big man Tig, yeah? Like, I can't hear you, man. Like, Bob, I'm not listening. Yeah, big bad thing. Straight up, I'm not listening. Okay, if so, hearing somebody say, "Oh yeah, yeah," I kind of agree with Bob. I was just like, "Rah, you agree with Bob?" Yeah, 60-40. No, they were saying, "Yeah, you should be accepted of it." Mad showbiz as well. Big up showbiz though. Okay, I was hearing him just like, "Yeah, I think Dilly White might be pricing himself out." I'm like, where is this? Where is this opinion coming from? Is it just me? Maybe it's just me. Um, but regardless, Dilly White is. I think he deserves it, man. Do you know what they don't know? Because this is two Brits. They're looking at, okay, is it big in America? If it's not big in America, it's not a big fight. Do you know what I admire there? I admire their confidence in themselves. You know, I ain't gonna lie. I wish we had that in the UK. Just to be like, yo, if you lot aren't big in the UK, you're not big at all. Like that sort of not arrogance, but that self opinion, not self. I don't know how to describe it. That self confidence, yeah, in where you live, etc. You gotta admire it, yeah. But the fact that they were just like, yo, it's mad. I don't think they did it is the interim trial. But again, I was watching it, yeah, and not. I'm telling you, barely a single person I was hearing him because I was watching it over the last couple of days. I was analyzing what's going on. Barely a single person from their side was saying that the WBC had it in their rule book that Dean is eligible for 55-45 for being an interim champion. I've not heard that. In fact, when I was watching that of Behind the Gloves, it was 30-minute long, guys, 30-minute long. Okay, and not one person. I think there was about wait, there was hold on, how many people were there? I think it was about 6 people. No, there was okay. There was the sister out there in the US, the pro athlete. There was the other sister from UK and US, the blonde lady. There was Michelle. Okay. There was the other girl from Jersey who's married to a heavyweight boxer. And there was another brother from London. Okay. And 6 people, and I've not heard one person in 30 minutes say, according to the rule book, Dillian Whyte is eligible for not a single person. It was as if all of them were on the same page. Yep, 60-40. No, no, 60-40. They were like, yeah, I know Dillian Whyte's waited a couple of days, he's waited 1,000 days, but it's a sad reality. And they were saying like, Dillian Whyte got hit by a truck. Dillian Whyte didn't get hit by a truck. Dillian Whyte got done dirty by the WBC. Okay, and I think I've heard any of them call out the WBC. I've not heard a single one of them call WBC out on their rule book either. So this is why I'm a bit like, what's going on over the pond? Maybe it's just me, but yeah. And Tyson Fury's talking about Saudi Arabia. Big man, allow it. Yeah. According to the calendar, guys, this is very, very important because I think a lot of people don't know this. Yeah. There can only be fights up until November, up until either early November or October. Okay, that is pretty much the latest a big fight is going to take place this year because of the World Cup. So if these men don't get the stuff together in the next couple of weeks, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. But again, we just have to wait and see. How long's it been? Okay, interesting as well. Also, as well, guys, just wanted to make sure if you haven't done already, guys, I keep it. I'm gonna say this quite a few times as well. Yeah, apologies. On my usual videos, I always forget. On my live I have to just remind myself, yeah, subscribe to Off the Canvas Boxing. 80% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you guys can subscribe, that would be amazing. Announcement. I should have done this at the beginning, to be fair. Okay. I'm going to be doing a boxing tier list after the because I was waiting after the what's that fight called again? The fuck. You know, the other day, King Kong and Charles Martin. Charles Martin lose Ortiz. Okay, I was waiting for that fight to end before we do the tier list. Just wanted to take a mini vote. Shall we do it live or pre-recorded? Live or pre-recorded? I'm thinking about doing it live, but let me know, guys, if you disagree or you agree. Okay. Hold on a minute. Someone said, "Yo, I can't say that, man. I can't put that on the screen. I can't put that on the screen, bro." Actually, fuck it. Who cares? Dillian Whyte is a Dillian. Hold on. Sorry, I just caught Dillian is a bruv. Jump on. Fuck it. I need to hear this, man. Big man. I want to hear. I want to hear what's going on. Jump right on. Yeah, if you, bro, jump on because I want to hear it, man. I want to hear why because right now I'll do it. I'll do it live. I'll do it live. Live. Okay, we'll do it live. Boxing tier list is going to take place live. This, we've got to check for the football schedule, okay? Because you know when the football schedules comes here, anyone that's boxing and football, okay? But let me just check one thing. I'll check the dates right now, so I'll give you guys a date and a time whilst you guys are here, instead of just saying the all right, tomorrow. What was it? No, tomorrow I'm getting the trim. Wednesday, Chelsea are playing. I swear, if we don't win, yeah, I'm gonna be pissed, bro. Yeah. Thursday. All right, Friday. Okay. This Friday, I'm going. Yeah, this Friday, I'm going to be doing the tier list. If you guys haven't seen the last video, I'm well, just search it on my channel, your OT off the canvas boxing tier list, and check it out. Actually, I might bring it up for you guys here. See, canvas boxing tier list, boom. Not fighter of the year. Also, check the video I've done out, fighter of the year. Like fighter of the year, because oh no, not fighter of the year, award show. My award show is serious, man. We gave awards out all last year. Hold on a minute. I'm just trying to bro. Let me just check. Heavy. Where is it? Huh? Huh? What's going on? I can't find it. I'll find it for you guys. What is going on? Hold on. When did I do it? When did I do it? I done it last year, but I can't remember when I did it last year. Oh, it's got to be close to that time. All right, boom. I'm scrolling, looking for it. Let's go up. Bingo, found you. I knew I would find you, man. I knew I would find you. Share. All right, we'll do it live, yeah? But just so you guys go away with something, yeah? That's the last video I've done. It's all right. Better be at the top of the tier list. You know what? I put Chisora I think I put it at the world level. Where did I put Chisora? I put Chisora. I put Chisora as top 10 heavyweight. No, top 10 worthy. Top 10 worthy, or yeah, I put Chisora top 10 worthy. Well, right now it's we'll do it to this. We'll do it live. Fuck it. We'll do it live. This Friday, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. 8 p.m. This Friday, 8 p.m. live at Off the Canvas Boxing. Telephone to telephone. You guys got the exclusive 8 p.m. as well, guys. Yeah. Also, there was that guy that said Dillian Whyte is. I thought you meant Tyson Fury. I was just like, yeah, I can't say that about Tyson. But I was like, oh, no, Dillian. Nah. If you want to jump on, let me know. Yeah. Because I like to just hear why. I'm not going to cuss you for it, okay? I'll be nice. I'll be nice, okay? Yo, bro, what are you saying?
Yo, can you hear me?
I can hear you, bro. All is well. I love.
How's it going?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'd love to hear. Actually, yeah, run it. Yeah, we'll do keep it like this. All right, talk to me, bro. Actually, where are you coming in from? Are you in the UK, US?
UK, London.
Actually, I'm not gonna give you. I'm not gonna ask you to bear out what side, but just say east, west, north, or south.
London.
Yeah,
All right, where in London?
yeah.
East London.
You got to be local. You got to be local. Anyway, let's get cracking. Boom. Yeah, you said Dillian Whyte is a yeah. He's going to use this as an excuse to duck Fury. Yeah, and let me just hear what you. Let me just hear a different perspective.
All right, so maybe they're harsh words, to be honest, harsher than when you're typing on a keyboard, it's different. But
Yeah.
but
Now it's come.
but but if I'm being honest, I think he is a bit of a ducker
Okay.
because I look at his track record. Yeah, you can say, oh, he's fought Parker, he's fought Chisora, he's fought Rivas, and at the end of the day, they're still decent names. But for the WB strap, he just had to fight Ortiz. And I remember when it happened, he had to fight Ortiz or Pulev, and they were both final eliminators, ordered within a week of each other, if I recall. IBF ordered him to fight Pulev, WBC ordered him to fight Ortiz, and he opted for Joseph Parker. And then he goes on, he fights Chisora, who's been through, I don't know how many times he's been knocked out at the top level, fights him, makes it out as if it's a big fight. For me, he's consistently ducked the top level whilst they were at the top.
Okay.
He talks about how Usyk, oh, I don't want to fight him, he can't speak English. Now Usyk's unified champ. Now I'm sure he's okay, but that's what he said. He can't speak English, but I'll fight Povetkin. I don't know how much English he speaks. I'll fight Wack. Again, don't know how much English he speaks. I'll fight Rivas. I mean, who even heard of Rivas before that? Let's be honest. I mean, a lot of people say now he's a good name, whatever. But how many people can honestly say they knew anything about Rivas before White fought him?
The Rivas part, I agree. The Rivas part is true. I think with regards to just Rivas, I don't think I've heard of him prior to it. Maybe the real hardcore boxing fans have heard of him, but this is from my standpoint with regards to the Usyk fight and hearing from Dillian, because I like to listen to what, especially the likes of Dillian and AJ. Those are kind of two boxers that when they drop an interview, I listen, even if it's on like IFL and Behind the Gloves, Boxer Social. I will listen to all of them, so I will kind of get a gist of what a person saying. Yeah, the Usyk one, was it right for Dillian to not fight Usyk? I would say yes, because if you remember at that time, Usyk was talking about Dillian prior to him fighting Chisora, and he didn't have, like, how do I say, it was a too risky move for very little reward, because he wasn't in a mandatory position at that point, or if he was, the mandatory wasn't called. So, from my perspective, that
So
I don't agree with that. But with regards to the English part, okay, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, maybe this is part of the reason that Dillian has got himself in this situation. Okay, that he kind of cusses people too often. I agree with when people say Dillian Whyte is pissed off the WBC and what he said is wrong. Okay, I'll hold my hands up. The Ortiz part, I don't think Dillian ducked Ortiz. I think Ortiz ducked Dillian. And to be fair, in my opinion, when it comes to the WBC, I have to question the credibility because when Wilder was champion, all of a sudden Ortiz is the final eliminator. When Fury's champion, and Fury demands that he gets this resolved, otherwise the fight's not happening. A couple of days later, the purse bid is announced for 2 weeks in time. When Dillian Whyte's waiting for 3 years.
No, I definitely agree that Al Heyman has a better relationship with the WBC strap than any of the other promoters, but that's not what I'm saying. So there's definitely an element of that, and Dillian Whyte's pissed off the WBC. There's no denying that there's politics in boxing. You can see it. Like Bob Arum's got very good relationship, and Top Rank have good relationship with the WBO. Eddie Hearn tends to have a better relationship with the IBF. So these promoters all have their relationships, but so what you're saying about Dillian Whyte is with the Usyk thing. Usyk was already, so it was in the WBO's rule that if you're the undisputed champion and you move up in weight, you'll become automatically the mandatory. And Crawford did that. He became mandatory for the WBO strap, and he fought Jeff Horn. And so it was known that Usyk was going to fight for the belt as soon as he stepped up. But Dillian, for me, he didn't want that. He didn't want Pulev. He turned that one down. I know you can say, oh, he wasn't going to get paid as much, but that was an investment fight because the IBF guarantee you 35% as a mandatory against a champion, and he would have been fighting AJ for that strap. 35% purse against AJ is big, and you don't have to give him a rematch clause either in that position.
When was that? That was about 20...
That was same time that Ortiz was first ordered, right before he fought Joseph Parker instead.
Yeah,
and there was nothing to gain from Parker. For me, Parker looked weak in that Joshua fight. He did nothing. Joshua, to be honest, I mean...
Parker's a credible name. That's the one guy...
I think he's become more credible since, for me. Like, for me, he was not... I didn't really rate him, but, after his the way he beat Chisora most recently, that was impressive.
Yeah.
But I think that Parker probably beat Whyte, if I'm being honest, because even in that Whyte fight that he had against... when he fought Whyte, it was a very, very close fight. And I think at the end of it, Parker, one card was a draw, 2 cards were Whyte, and one of the cards was only by 1 point. And Dillian Whyte got a knockdown from a headbutt. So that fight could have easily been a draw.
Do you know what? From a card perspective, you could be right, but most people watching that had it majority Dillian winning that fight. But I think Joseph Parker is definitely a credible name. Not fighting Usyk, I'm indifferent about, because Usyk, the context of it
fine.
is
Usyk's not, at the time he wasn't the biggest, but for me it's consistently now. Those would have been the biggest name, and also turning down AJ for $5 million. I know a lot of people criticized Ortiz for turning down that same AJ offer, but what I'll say for Ortiz is that he was already guaranteed a Wilder fight on full camp to fight for a world title. Well, what was Whyte's excuse for turning down that fight? Same offer. Why did he turn it down?
First, you can't. Okay, so with Ortiz and Whyte, I think Whyte has a higher draw than Ortiz. So offering them the exact same is a bit unfair to Dillian Whyte.
But like I said, it's not the same. It's not the same though, because you could say, okay, offering the same, but Ortiz had more to lose by taking that offer, because he's already going to fight for a world title. He knows he's going to fight for a world title on full camp. Why take one on short notice? And in the end, from what I understand, PBC ended up matching that AJ offer for Ortiz.
I don't. Yeah, well, anything you hear from their side, I would take it with a pinch of salt, because they've been, a bit shady since. A bit shady.
Well, in regards to money,
in regards to a lot of things, money, with the relationship with WBC, anything you hear from that side, I think, in my opinion, unless I hear it from Al Heyman with his mouth, I'm gonna take it with a pinch of salt
Yeah, you're
because
never gonna hear
a lot
anything
what.
from Al Heyman. How many interviews have you seen of Al Heyman?
Listen, I don't even know if he's got a deep voice or he's got a high pitched voice. I
No
couldn't tell
one's
you
ever heard
because
an interview with Al
I,
Heyman.
I, I've never ever heard of him yet. But I think EJ was on here last time. He was EJ Boxer was talking about. The way he explained it, it kind of made sense. He said that, look, do you know what? After a bit of time, I actually probably agree with him that when it comes to people from the black community in the boxing game, a lot of it, the very few people, especially the ones in the training position or the ones in the suits, are just vilified. Yeah, and you saw it with like with Leonard Ellaby, you saw it with Tunde, you saw it with a lot of people. Yeah, so it makes sense when you hear the explanation that he wants to put it on, wants to focus on the fighters and away from him, and to protect his brand against any sort of bad stuff. Okay, Al
Yeah,
Heyman grew up around some crazy stuff, like so. I'm not really against that, but the problem is, yeah, with the Dillian Whyte scenario. Okay, Ortiz wanted to fight Dillian Whyte on the undercard of Deontay Wilder. In like that I had a good authority that is what he wanted to do. Now Dillian Whyte versus Ortiz could have headlined the show. So fighting on the undercard of Deontay Wilder, for me, is a bit shady.
yeah.
But
The thing is, though, it becomes about who you believe. Because for me now, Ortiz has just fought Martin, and he was the headline of that card. But for me, it's like, who do you believe, Ortiz or Dillian Whyte? And
no,
there's been a
I
lot of
believe
things that Dillian Whyte has said that that when I read them, I think that guy is just chatting out of his
do you know
behind,
what?
basically. Sometimes I don't know.
He,
Sometimes I read some stuff that he says, and I don't buy it.
do you know what? I when he's cussing other people, right? I can get it. He might come a bit forceful. I like I can empathize with that. When he's saying, "Oh, Fury's this and this person that," and he's cussing other people, I get
Bro,
it,
he
right?
was he was saying that, he's claiming that he dropped Fury in sparring. He did this, that, and the other to Fury. He's claiming he was in Wilder's camp when he was in the Klitschko camp when Wilder got dropped by Klitschko in sparring, apparently, allegedly. And then what's it called? Those guys in the background turned around and said, I remember reading an interview from a guy who was actually there saying Dillian Whyte and Deontay Wilder have never been in camp together. They were never, those two have never met each other in camp. Dillian Whyte's just chatting crap. Yes,
I don't.
he.
Yeah, with the sparring stories, I'd leave that to one
But
side. When it
it's
comes,
that's not the. I'm not saying that it's like he's just lying about sparring. But if you start creating a sort of picture of yourself as someone who's dishonest, then why should I?
do you know what?
As only
This one's
Dr.
true. I
Wally.
think I think that's the only person that you can. I think people can categorically claim that okay, he ducked him because the rest of it is just a breakdown of negotiations. And you know what? A part of me with the Dillian versus the AJ fight, the reason why I think Dillian is one of them ones that when somebody gives you an offer and the offer isn't quite your one, isn't quite what you wanted, but it's close enough for people to say maybe not type of a scenario, and he chose the maybe not. I think there was about after negotiations, it was about nine. It was about was it an 8 week camp? They haven't even started camp, to be fair. Plus the added factor of the rematch goes. And do you know what it is? If someone says that Dillian or Dillian ducked AJ in negotiations, you also have to factor into account that AJ has already beaten Dillian. So AJ doesn't need to fight Dillian again. So whatever offer AJ is given to Dillian, which a guy that he absolutely despises, it's not going to be a great one. And I'm not going to get mad at AJ for that or Dillian for not accepting that because it's a bit like two arch enemies battling with each other that he's already beaten already. So like, what is the point? I get that part. The Deontay Wilder part, that guy, in my opinion, has categorically ducked Dillian Whyte. Like he's even, to be fair, he's admitted to it. He messaged Dillian Whyte on Instagram, right? And I think Dillian saw the message, or it's probably there, unless he had some fake image in his phone. But he said that I'm going to freeze you up for 2 years and not make you and not call the man shit. To be fair, it is
no,
true.
no. I think that's ducking, but like just in defense of Deontay Wilder, I don't think it's ducking out of fear. I think it's ducking out of
True.
trolling Dillian Whyte.
That
Because
is true. I
agree. Genuinely, I think Dylan can, like, whatever I think of him as in regards to his ducking and stuff. Like, I think he would have beaten Pulev, even though I don't think he wanted that fight, and even though I think he thinks that he might have not, because he turned it down at the end of the day. But for Deontay Wilder, genuinely, I can't see how Dillian Whyte gives him any trouble at all. I genuinely can't see how Deontay Wilder has any problem with him.
Let me paint the picture. It's very easy. I'll paint the picture for you, okay? Dillian Whyte, and you have to talk about it from the ring aspects of their style of fighting, etc., and their some of their good attributes to some of their bad ones. Okay? Can Deontay Wilder? I think there's only one way for Deontay Wilder to win. Right hand, block him out. Okay, so we kind of know what Deontay Wilder's going to do. With regards to Dillian, I think Dillian can adopt. I would say it's very similar tactics to like a Chisora, where he applies a lot of pressure, and how Tyson Fury done it. A lot of pressure, kind of zap the energy from him, body shots, and just got power or overhand right in both hands.
Honestly, I think Dylan's chin is so dusted at the minute. Like, I think honestly, before AJ, his chin was okay. After AJ, it was crushed anyway. And the way Povetkin knocked him out, I think if he comes back, honestly, if he fights Fury, he's going to get knocked out heavy.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
That Povetkin shot, do you think it would have knocked out Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and AJ?
I think it'd have
like if it landed.
If it landed the same way. There's degrees of getting knocked out, though. The way Dylan got knocked out, he was out for like 5 minutes sleeping. Like, I think it would drop any of the three. I think Fury would have probably gotten up from it.
Okay.
I can even see Deontay getting up from it. I can AJ, because out of the three, I think AJ is the chinniest. But I don't think he's that chinny either. A lot of people criticize AJ a bit too much in that regard. But I don't see any of them getting knocked out the way Dylan got knocked out.
So what you're saying is that if they all got hit with that shot,
I think they could all go down from that. Yeah, if they got hit clean, obviously I could never see Fury getting hit with that shot, if I'm being straight up with you. But if they got hit clean, but then again, you know what? AJ took a couple of big shots from Povetkin. Like in that first half of that, there was only one half of the fight, to be honest. But in the first 6 rounds, Povetkin was probably winning pretty much all the rounds, and AJ ate a lot of shots from him. And he got, I think I saw him get wobbled a couple of times. There were some clean shots that landed, but he never, there was no chance AJ was going to sleep like that.
Yeah. Do you know what? From my perspective,
it's not just that, though. Joseph Parker, prior to this Chisora win, he's never been known as a puncher. Like, Andy Lee's done something to him. He's made him more aggressive, whatever. But prior to that, he is never a puncher. And he dropped Dillian Whyte hard in that last round. Oscar Rivas lost every single round, basically. Did nothing the whole fight. Throws one random uppercut, and he drops Dillian Whyte.
Oscar Rivas part, that's one fight I'm going to take it with a pinch of salt, given the fact that it was the drug offenses.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that as well, but let's carry on with this one first.
Yeah, personally, I don't think Dillian Whyte I don't think he's a darker. I think there's enough evidence, given the resume he's got, compared to his other counterparts. Because I know a lot of people could say this person not good, that person not good. But when I look at a lot of people's resumes, if Dillian's not good, it's very difficult to find a great person. Like, I think Dillian's resume is probably better in terms of the wins he's got than Deontay Wilder. He's probably just got better than Tyson Fury AJ. I would say he's got better resume. Usyk is an asterisk because he hasn't had a large pool of heavyweight contenders to put on his resume, so you can't really judge him. So it's not applicable. And the rest of the heavyweight scene,
the thing is though, is these resumes for me are a bit misleading, because for Dillian Whyte, he's for me, whilst technically they're top 10 on ring ranking, I think there's a big distance between certain fighters in the top sort of 5, and then everyone below that. I think there's quite a big distance between them. So whilst he's fighting your, I don't know, your 7, 8, 9, 10s, I think those top echelon guys, guys that AJ has fought in Usyk, that Fury's fought in Wilder's fought Fury. I think that the distance to get to those, and AJ's even for Andy Ruiz as well, the distance to get to those guys from the guys below is quite a big jump, because, you can say, okay, he's fought, who do you say that Dillian Whyte's top opponents are? Joseph Parker, probably. But that win looks better now, just given what Joseph Parker's just done.
Yeah.
But prior to that, honestly, I couldn't rate him.
I mean, for me,
I thought
Joseph...
the best chance, the best thing Parker had done was, for me, robbed Andy Ruiz, and when the Huey Fury fight even happened, I thought he lost that one as well.
I might have to watch that back again. I think the Andy Ruiz one was kind of close. I think the Huey Fury one, I think he beat him comfortably. With Parker, I personally believe that it was just a lack of good training that's why he's good. I think
I would love to see that fight again. If somehow this Fury fight doesn't happen, I think Parker deserves a rematch. And genuinely, who do you think could win that fight?
Parker and Andy Ruiz.
No, Parker and Dillian Whyte. Because Parker's got a chin on him, you're not knocking him out. And if he comes out aggressive the way he came out against Chisora, I can see him taking out Dillian.
I think Dillian will win. I think Dillian will win, because the Dillian I saw against both Povetkin. I know Povetkin is not a great opponent, but sometimes you have to look at. Do you know what it is? When people say that's a good opponent, that's why he fought better. That's a good opponent, that's why it made him look better. Sometimes you just have to look what type of shots the man's throwing. Dillian versus Povetkin. Dillian, that's probably the best I've seen him in terms of the shots he was putting together, the athleticism, the sharpness he was showing in the ring. I thought that those.
Yeah, but look at when he fought Povetkin as well. I mean, with Povetkin, a lot of people thought he lost to Michael Hunter, and that was it 2 fights before that?
Yeah, but you can't. But when it comes to looking good in the ring, I'll give you an example. When I'm not sure whether you watch football, but let's just say
you're right. He did look good in the ring, but again, it's difficult to tell against a guy who's gone on.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure you can hear me. Well,
I can hear you.
But yeah, against Povetkin, I genuinely believe, sometimes, okay, let's just say Liverpool next week, they go against, I don't know, a bloody Aston Villa, or let's not even Aston Villa, somebody lower than that, like a Newcastle, and smacks them up here. But the play in what they were doing was amazing, okay? You can't turn around and say, yeah, Newcastle, yeah, but they're a dead team. Sometimes you have to look at what they're doing against the opponent, because even though Povetkin was bad, Dillian Whyte could have just jabbed and basically just put it to points, to be fair. He could have just jabbed there, maybe a late stoppage, and I just done bare minimum per round. But the way he was looking, I thought it was good. But with regards to Dillian versus Parker, I think Dillian beats Parker, because I think Parker's improved, and I think Dillian's improved since then. I just see Dillian winning that fight. For me, I know it's going to be tough, but I think it's going to be a very similar circumstance. Points decision. I think it's going to be very similar.
You know what? That Dillian chin will bring question marks in it for me in every single fight he's in. To be honest, that chin is. I'm always gonna. It's just he doesn't just go down. He goes down so heavy. It can happen at any. And everyone says it's a heavyweight division. It can happen to anyone. Whatever. It seems to be happening more frequently to Dillian.
Nah, you can't say that, man. Nah. It's only happened twice. One against Anthony Joshua, where I think he was if you watch that fight back again and you watch the Dillian Whyte that fought Povetkin, you would see a very, very. You'll think they're two different people.
From that fight, from when he fought Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, the Anthony Joshua fight. I think that was one time he got dropped by Parker, but at the same time,
Listen, they can be
Parker
different
dropped
fighters, but
Chisora.
you know, you're right. He's a different fighter. Technically, he's better. He's more defensive, whatever. But his chin isn't. You know, you can't work on that chin. There's nothing you can do about that. You know, if Joshua touches him again, he'll go again.
That's some people say, yeah, it does get hit. Do you know what? I get what people are saying.
His
With regards to
only defense
defensively.
nowadays is that high guard. You know, where he just sticks his hands out. He's not really got any head movement or anything. That's what makes me think Deontay Wilder will take him, clean him, spark out. Is he's just too slow. He just stands there. You know,
The thing
he
is,
tends to
with
have a
Deontay,
decent jab when he's, but you know, against a much bigger guy or something like that, someone's going to take him out.
the thing is with Deontay Wilder, and this is my stance on Deontay. Deontay Wilder can only fight on the front foot. On the back foot, he's looking shaky. And I think Dillian will push him
Nah, but he's
so
still got
far.
power on the back foot. Like, did you see the first Ortiz knockout, the final knockout shot? Even though ultimately ended on the uppercut, but the one that really put Ortiz away was a Deontay Wilder backing up, right hand right off the chin.
The first one.
The first Ortiz fight. Watch it back right before the. So
I
the first knockdown
back.
was ruled a slip officially, but that Deontay backing up, he's still got power backing up as well. Everyone thinks because Fury done that to Wilder, anyone can do it to Wilder, but Fury's different. Fury's better than the rest.
I've been saying it from the get go. When I saw Deontay Wilder, and I saw like all of his knockouts, how's his knockouts come about? Has come about on him stepping into the punches because, or him extending his arm through like a full arm length to get those shots. On when it comes to back shots or backhanded attempts, body shots, jabs, anything like that, hooks, he's not good at that. So if Dillian Whyte goes closes him from the inside, puts him up close, and just smashes him to the body, smashes him, which
every
possible.
fight starts on the outside. You're hoping that Dillian Whyte gets in without getting hit. Because that's what you got to hope for. You know, Deontay just has to clinch and then he's out of the, you know, Dillian Whyte has to get in again and that's what's going to happen. He's going to get hit. And when Dillian gets hit by that right hand, that is lights out.
If the range is good. When it comes to boxing, if the range isn't there.
And it's not like Deontay can't bang on the inside as well. You know, Fury got hurt a couple of times, even on the inside against Wilder in their most recent fight. Like, Deontay's uppercuts and stuff, they looked good. He just didn't have the gas tank to keep it up.
No. Wilder's got a great gas tank. The thing is with Wilder is that
not recently, not since he's put this weight on. In that Fury fight, he was gassed.
He got dropped too many times. That's why he got gassed. I don't think he got gassed because of the lack of stamina.
Well, I don't know. It depends. Like for me, he got dropped because he was gassed. Because even when he got knocked out the final time, he's still getting up. He just was breathing so heavy.
True. Do you know
Honestly,
what?
I don't know. Maybe it's because I just like Wilder. You know, it upset me to see Fury beat the shit out of him. But
why? Well, Wilder, like
there's something about him. He's got that. You know, I like an exciting one punch.
Okay.
You know, big hitter. I like Fury as well. You know, that man ducks no one. But
nah. You can't say that. No way.
Who's Fury?
One. Listen, yo, the list is
Tell
the
me
size
who he's ducked. Tell me.
Yo, the list is the size of. Wow. Yo.
He came back and he fought Wilder. He fought Vladimir Klitschko. You can't tell me who he's ducked. He was about to fight AJ.
All right. Look, hold on. Yo, the list is bad, yeah. So I'm gonna need. Wait, he's ducked Dillian. That's a start.
That's no duck. That fight's gonna happen. Dillian just has to accept the offer.
No. He remember he said that he offered him for the diamond belt, right?
Yeah, and then he ended up fighting Deontay Wilder. Why would you fight Dillian when you got Deontay Wilder, who's got the actual belt?
No, wait, hold on. No, no. For the diamond belt, he said, "I'll fight Dillian Whyte on camera for the diamond belt." WBC making.
There's no denying Fury says a lot of stuff, but I can't really call it a duck when he's about to fight a guy that holds a legitimate title and because Fury says a lot of stuff.
He did duck AJ. That's true. We have to agree on that. At least on AJ.
That
Yeah.
fight was about to happen in Saudi.
Nah, I think he ducked it. He ducked it. I'm gonna call it a duck because it can't not be a duck. 48, like the fight breaks down 48 hours later. All of a sudden, you got a deal
Yeah,
signed
right.
with
There was so
Deontay
much shady
Wilder.
going on there. Yeah, but
Nah,
I mean,
that's a duck. I'm calling that a spade a spade.
Yeah, but
Dillian Whyte, the diamond belt, duck. Okay. So Dillian Whyte definitely duck. He even tried to duck Deontay Wilder, yeah, and flopped because the arbitration said you got to fight Deontay Wilder. Okay, that I want to count that one as well because Big Man Thing, he tried his best to get himself out of it. Yeah, he signed, so delivered, and trying to get himself out of it. Yeah, he ducked the Vladimir Klitschko rematch. Come on, man! Like there's
I don't know. There's maybe
Usman,
there's like a difference in understanding of what we think is like considered. When I think of a duck, there's I don't know. Duck to me is
do you
more of a
think?
cowardly move. These are not cowardly moves from Fury because I don't think he's a coward.
Wait, hold on. He had a mandatory. I think he's supposed to have a mandatory fight for the British belt, and he ducked that one as well against David Price. That's another one, bruv. Nah, this guy's been ducking for years. Nah, that's the one guy.
Listen,
If there's
I'll tell you
anyone
the
that's going
one.
to duck hard,
If White accepts this 20% offer, yeah, and the fight doesn't happen, that for me, genuinely, forget everything else. I'll say that's a proper cowardly kind of duck. If this fight doesn't happen after
that's
White,
the ultimate one. That's the
yeah,
ultimate one. Yeah.
that for me would be genuinely. But for like the AJ one and stuff, yeah, you're saying, for either you think it's about to happen in Saudi, or even if you don't think it's about to happen in Saudi, then he must have known that the arbitration was going to happen. That's not a duck. That's he couldn't fight him.
Nah, because he would. Honestly, I think any person with a right brain would have known that you've already signed an agreement to fight Deontay Wilder for the third time.
Yeah, so if he knows that and he's messing around with AJ, then that to me is not a duck because you could never have fought him. That's just you freaking trolling him, taking him for a walk. I don't know what you want to do, what you want to call it. Is him taking the piss out of AJ, isn't it? A duck is what Dillian did with Pulev when the fight got ordered and he pulled out of his IBF final eliminator.
But I have to look back at that whole scenario, but because with the Dillian Whyte scenario.
Yeah, what about Dylan's drug test as well? It tests positive for Dianabol, and then suddenly, after it gets leaked, UCAD are like, oh, actually, is it was a trace amount or something.
Yeah, so I think that one, UCAD, and the trace amount, I'd have to. It depends on. I don't know the whole context of it because all what UCAD said is that it was even though they found something, it was very minimal amount in terms of trace amount, meaning that if you even try to even drug test that very, very, very little amount is very difficult to even get into your system. So, or maybe it's from a substance that was already on the good list or whatever it is. I'm not too sure in terms of the ins and out of what exactly happened because apparently that was from I think it was from a protein shake. I can't remember what it was, but I think it's from a pre-workout or a protein shake that he's always been taking, and they for some weird reason they found some minute 1%. Then there was an A sample, and then there was a B sample, which a lot of people get construed. Both samples were taken at the exact same time. You take
I personally don't know if I buy that. When an athlete gets caught on something, I think it's on them to know better, to know where they're buying from, what their sources are. And I think with UCAD, they've had the history. So this is going back to my guy. Even though Tyson Fury's my guy, he failed a drugs test for nandrolone before the Christian Hammer fight.
Yeah.
And UCAD let him fight 2 more fights whilst they were still investigating. He fought 2 more times, even though they'd known he'd failed. And then eventually they had to Fury accepted a backdated ban because he was suing them and they didn't have the money. The entire organization would have gone bankrupt. So to me, it sounds like when the leak happened, it kind of let Dillian get off on one.
No, I don't think they let him go off on one with UCAD. I genuinely don't think so because when it comes to these sorts of people like UCAD and the governing bodies, they'll try their best to put it or stick it on Dillian. They'll do whatever they can, and I think he
even if it's
presented
their responsibility that they, because I'm no lawyer or anything. I'm a med student anyway, so
Yeah.
it's not my area. But if Dylan is, you know, if it's their job to sort of maintain a confidentiality and stuff, yeah, and Dylan and they didn't, and it gets leaked to the press, and Dylan's getting slugged off now. There's no sort of legal liability for them.
No, they did.
I think
they
there is. I think that's why they kept Fury's sample quiet even and let him fight 2 more times.
I think with Fury's one, I think you have to also take into account with regards to Fury, that there could have been an influence with regards to where he's from and the background that he's from around that period of time. So I think that there was a lot of prejudice going around Fury because of his background coming from the traveling community, etc. But with regards to the Dillian scenario, he presented the well, we know this. These are quote unquote the facts from Team Dillian and also the WBC as well, because WBC kind of confirmed it, and the UCAD or the British Boxing Board of Control, whoever released that statement, I think it was UCAD, they all said it, that they found the adverse finding, I think, a month before the fight, or like a couple of weeks. I can't remember the timings, but they had a court hearing around the day of the fight, the morning of the fight between him and Oscar Rivas. Dillian Whyte presented the evidence, and then they cleared him. So
they hadn't cleared him at that point. Because Thomas Hauser leaked it after the Rivas fight, and he wasn't cleared at that point.
No, he was cleared at that point. They cleared him at that point.
If I recall, Thomas Hauser had leaked it, and at that point they hadn't yet cleared him.
UCAD already cleared him to fight that day. They already did. They gave it the green light.
No, they let him fight. They let him fight, but that's the same way Fury was allowed to fight 2 fights before they made public, okay, he's failed a drugs test, and now we're trying to give him a ban. So Fury technically got cleared to fight twice more when he failed for Nandrolone.
But with regards to Fury and Dillian, Dillian had a statement from UCAD telling them that we've cleared him of any sort of wrongdoing.
Yeah, but that came cleared of wrongdoing came much after. Cleared to fight, yeah, sure, that happened. But Fury got cleared twice as well.
I think there was a legal dispute between Dillian.
Yeah, there was a legal dispute because Thomas Hauser released it, and someone from UCAD must have leaked it.
That because it's confidentiality, but also I think they were recording the conversation between Dillian and
to me, the biggest question mark was that, you know, when athletes fail for trace amounts, yeah, that just makes me think they're cycling out their system. If you're going to fail big.
Do you know what?
If you genuinely don't know about it and you've taken something, there shouldn't, like the same way John Jones ended up with picograms of what was his? I can't remember what he failed for.
I think it was cocaine. It was cocaine. And Tyson
he failed for picograms of a steroid as well, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh no, his one, I know. I think I heard the story with regards to John Jones. His one was in his system for quite a period of time. I think it was over a year. It was still in his system.
Yeah, I've heard about that pulsing or whatever they call it, but there's no evidence of the drug that he takes that drug can pulse. So
I wouldn't. Dillian Whyte is a person that I can't call a cheater based a drug
honestly,
because the first time
I think a lot of boxers are cheaters. So when you catch them, don't let them go.
I don't think, because you have to also understand what their nutrition, etc., and how it gets into the system. Because a lot of the time, people thinking, "Oh, right, my man's got a computer. Cool. When did the drugs people coming? They came today. Okay, they're probably not going to come the next couple of days. Let's do that." It's not as sinister as what people think. I'm not gonna lie. You'll pick up a Pringles packet, yeah, big man thing, yeah. I've got like a Pringles packet here, yeah. I'm telling you, there must be something here that's on the banned substance list. At least one little thing, yeah. And sometimes it takes that one little moment, yeah. I think one person was saying, I think Dave Calder, I was hearing from Dave Calder, he was saying one of his fighters had like a cough and he picked up like lockets or he picked up like cough medicine. I can't remember which one. I think it was, what's that green one? You know what I'm talking about, the green one, right?
Yeah. And
Put it in his Yeah, no, before he done it, Dave Caldwell slapped down his head, brother. He said, "Oh, you dumb. That's got banned substance in it." So I'm not going to cuss the boxers unless they get some guidance from the people who are from the WBC or
Yeah,
from
but I
the.
mean, to me, that makes it very difficult to fail anyone for a drugs test for any drug that you'd have to inject, basically, because they can always turn around and argue, well, I've had it tainted, this or that.
Not a tainted, but you could just like if they say we found this in your system, what could it be? And you come with a bloody Actimel, you said this is what I have, and they trace it back to any other Actimel because that one could be contaminated. But anyone from the factory,
But
and they find
for me,
out raw, like
that's not an excuse though. That's the fighter's responsibility to, they're not getting paid peanuts here. These guys, like Dylan's, like, I don't know what you want to take away from his 300 grand declared or whatever, but he's probably getting paid millions realistically, yeah.
yeah,
And
that's nonsense. That
he
300
should
grand is
hire
nonsense.
guys that that pick out his foods, whatever, that are not going to fail him for anything.
I disagree. I think it's the responsibility of the UCAD to provide a list of products and things that you can eat and what you can't eat, because not every person has the facilities to buy to pay for things such as what's it called, um
A
not
nutritionist.
a nutritionist, etc. The first time Dillian Whyte got popped, I think it was like well 3 years ago. I think that one was just over the counter,
Okay,
and
maybe that's a rule change that needs to come in UCAD. But at the end of the day, Dylan has, I'm assuming he signed contracts with these guys. He's agreed, to follow the procedure. So until those changes come in place, Dylan should be the one, whoever he's hiring, whatever, he should make
true.
sure that he's clean.
That's true, but they UCAD did clear him, so I can't really turn around and say, bro, like UCAD, they're not okay. UCAD are not trustworthy people. I'm going to be honest. British Boxing Board of Control. Some people call them the British Boxing Board of Out of Control. Yeah, these people are nuts. Yeah, so I would trust what anything that they say. To be honest with you, so I agree with people question their integrity. I'm all for it. Yeah, but at the same point, it's like if they say, okay, by the way, you pop dirty, and I think I've done no wrong doing, I can't present the evidence. They cleared me. I've got like after that, it's all good unless somebody comes back with evidence to present to them that say, by the way, they could have been some unethical practices that they've done behind the scenes where they contaminated some of his substances. But with regards to Dillian, okay, I want to ask you a quick question. Do you think the 80-20 split is fair? That is a great question.
Do I think the 80-20 split? I'll be honest, before I read the WBC rules, I personally always thought it was a 20% split for mandatory. I didn't.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, now I've read the rules and stuff, but I always thought that apart from the IBF, which I know was getting 35%, I thought all the other organizations gave 20% for their mandatories.
Yeah.
Is 80-20 fair? No, probably not, but that's what he's going to get. Is it fair? No, but it's not. But at the end of the day, he's pissed off the WBC. If you read the rules, it says that basically, if you're the interim champion, you're not mandatory. So he doesn't get any mandatory splits or anything like that. And the current WBC rules don't state how much an interim champion gets. It says that the WBC will determine it. So
no,
technically,
it does.
No, not if you go on their website. So I've seen the old rules circulating. They're the ones from 2009 to 2019 that were used. But if you go onto the current rules, it doesn't mention I'm pretty sure, you'll have to double check it anyway, but I'm pretty sure they updated it so it doesn't specify how much an interim champion gets anymore. It just says the WBC will determine it however they see fit.
But even so, he should be eligible at the bare minimum. 70-30.
I think he should. I think the offer that Fury's team gave him, 5 million upfront and 25%. I think that was okay. Probably the fairest split that he could get is 30%, and I think that's, if I'm being honest, that's what I think he deserves, because Fury is a much bigger name. I think Fury in his last few fights has made a lot more money. Fury won't just sell in the UK. He's not just a bigger name in the UK, but Fury will sell in America as well. So Fury brings a lot more to it.
How much
it's
more?
unfortunate
Because
for Dillian. At the end of the day, he's pissed off the WBC, and to me, it's clear they've held it against him, and they're using it here now.
do you know what? At the same time, how much more percent is the pulling power? Because you have to also, it's comparing apples and oranges. There was an 80. Well, the first thing, the 300K is absolute nonsense because if you think about it, yeah, how much pay per view would you say Dillian's making? What?
No, I don't think he earned that much. I think he earned more than 300K. Obviously, I'm not saying he's earned 300K, but from what Aram and those guys have said, and the fact that neither Dillian's side has disputed it nor the WBC have disputed it, it sounds that Dillian lodged his fight purse as 300K. So he told the WBC it was 300K, and they take their cut based off of that. So it just sounds to me like he's tried to underpay the WBC in their sanctioning fees.
No, they don't get paid. They don't get paid like that. I think they just declare the numbers.
I think they take a percentage of your purse. I read that somewhere. I'm not 100% sure. Check that.
No, with regards to Dillian's one, I think it's a fixed amount. There's a fixed.
But the WBC said in the statement, didn't they, that the reason they gave him 80-20 is because of the last purses, the last few purses. They said they based it off of that.
That's not. No, that.
So I'm assuming Dillian has lodged purses much lower than what Tyson's been lodging.
But Dillian Whyte, it turns out if he'd done the correct thing, I think he probably earned what, anywhere between 2 to 4 million in his last fight. I would say roughly around that.
Yeah, no, I think how much? It was 200,000 pay-per-views. Yeah, £20 a pay-per-view. He probably got his own money on the side as well. He probably
international as well.
He probably earned about £2 million from that.
Yeah, so it's about 2 million pounds, maybe upwards of maybe 3.5 or something.
No, honestly, I think he is 30% of that fight. I think he's probably worth about 30%.
But yeah, you know what? With the Tyson Fury, I'm gonna take it for pinch of salt because in terms of the Tyson Fury fight, Dillian fought in Gibraltar, and there was only, because of the COVID regulations, there was only a capacity of about 500 people, and the pay-per-view was about £20. In the US, the pay-per-view is about, was it $80? It was an $80 pay-per-view.
Yeah, but I'm not sure that's an excuse for it, because at the end of the day, it's $80, but people are less likely to buy that as well. So you got to factor that in, that, you know, if Fury's pay-per-view is £20, more people might buy it.
That's true. But if they were both in the UK, with the same circumstances, I would say it's a bit more closer to 60-40 than to 80-20. I would say so, because
I don't know if I can honestly say that a challenger
at that time, not now, because I think because Tyson Fury's done a lot of promotion and that fight got him a lot of popularity.
Okay, yeah,
probably not now, but at that time, I would say 60-40 it's definitely in the UK. If you wanted to say pay-per-view sales, if they both fought the exact same person at the exact same time, the same price, same circumstances with regards to COVID regulations, and also the same time of year, because the time of year it impacts on the pay-per-view sales. A pay-per-view in the winter time does better than a pay-per-view in the first quarter of the year. That's why a lot of pay-per-views are later on in the year or etc. There ain't gonna be no pay-per-view anytime soon. So that a lot of those factors, I know Dillian's, the revenue generated is a lot less on the gate, etc., than the Fury fight, even though Fury didn't sell out the whole stadium.
Yeah,
granted, but a lot of it has to be in comparison to the circumstance it is. But I think that, you know what, I agree with you. I think Dillian should take the fight. I think later on in the year, I think Tyson Fury is on route to retirement. So I think that Dillian Whyte, at the age of 33 years of age, I know they're doing him dirty. I know it's unfair, but it's a bit like...
Listen, if he wins this fight, there's no rematch clause for Tyson Fury. If he somehow pulls it off, Dillian pulls it off, he can demand a bigger purse next time round, or just go straight for the undisputed with Usyk. For me, this is one of those, for Dillian, if he genuinely thinks he can win, then I know it's hard to take, but take the 20%. Beat Fury. If you genuinely think you can do it, you'll get a few bigger paydays after that. You'll get that AJ rematch at better terms that you want it at. You'll get that Usyk fight for undisputed. Usyk, assuming he comes through Joshua. And there's probably a few bigger fights in it.
Who do you think wins in that fight between? Actually, no. You know what? Who do you think wins in both fights? If White was to take the fight against Tyson Fury, who do you think will win? And also against Joshua and Usyk, who do you think will win?
For White Fury, that's the easier one to call. I just think Fury's too good. I think Fury by knockout.
I'm not mad at that.
And Usyk Joshua, even the first fight I said Usyk, I'll say it again. Usyk for me is pound for pound. I don't care, Canelo, people can say it. I rank Usyk as the number one. Like, to beat Joshua is worth more than anything anyone else has done. The way he did it as well, it was so dominant. And I think Joshua's making, if he's going to take the advice of everyone who's saying, come out more aggressive, bully the guy, do this and the other, I think there's a good chance he gets knocked out in the rematch if he does that. I think Usyk's too smart. He was so fast in that fight. His hands looked, it was crazy. Like, it's difficult to tell when guys are not in the ring with each other, and they're fighting other opponents. It's difficult to tell, but when they were next to each other, Usyk it was insane. It was so good.
Do you think Usyk won the fight? Okay, do you think AJ made it easy for Usyk to win the fight in terms of his performance? Or do you think that Usyk was just too good? I don't know.
I think that's an unfair statement because I know a lot of people said that, but early on in that fight, Usyk buzzed AJ a lot, and I think that made AJ sort of back off a bit. It's not that AJ chose to back off. I mean, technically, I guess he chose, but it's not like he really wanted to back off. It's that when he was coming forward earlier on in those rounds, in that third round, he got hit with a clean left, and he was clinching all over. I think of quite a few more of those shots. One of them is going to get you down. So I honestly think Usyk's too good. I think there's quite a few of these cruiserweights that I think can do. Gassiev's another one. He's somewhere in that heavyweight division. I think he'll do damage in it. I think with the heavyweights, they're not all about that technical ability, whereas the cruiserweights, they're still heavyweights, but they've got that technique about them. They've got that boxing skill.
Okay. Now I hear you, man. You know what? What you say makes complete sense. I can't. If you look, I think that AJ can potentially win, given the fact that I think with Usyk's strength is his ability to dictate the distance, step it in and out with the jab. His how do I say, his hypnotic what's it called?
Movement,
straight right hand.
Yeah.
Is it no?
Left
he does
hand.
this.
You're about Usyk here.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me just do southpaw. No, it's a right hand. It's his hypnotic right hand because it's southpaw.
Oh, even the jab, yeah.
Yeah, the jab hand, and then I think AJ just became a lot tentative. I think AJ was about. I'll rate.
Yeah, I think AJ is used to by the sort of 5th, 6th round. Even though he slows down, I think he's used to his opponents kind of slowing down as well. All big guys he's fighting, if they survive that far, I think he's used to them getting a bit slow. But Usyk didn't get slower. He just carried on the same pace from the 1st round to the 12th.
Do you know what? On that point, I probably have to disagree because I think Usyk did slow down, but I don't think AJ capitalized.
I think Usyk took off maybe 2 rounds where I gave AJ the win, but then he came back out in the 8th round. I think he was right back on it. And in the 9th round, I thought that was on the 9th round. I thought it was over because AJ's eyes swelled over. I thought it looked like what happened to Billy Joe Saunders. I thought his eye socket was broken, but it's just obviously that didn't happen in the end. But I just thought Usyk's not slowing down.
I just getting flashbacks to that day. I've done a vlog. Not sure whether you seen it, but that day was a sad day. That day was I was at the stadium. Yeah, it was a very, very bad performance. And from what I could see, I think Usyk's footwork, etc. But the thing is with Usyk, I don't think Usyk has come up against a good AJ. I'm not saying a 10 out of 10 AJ, but at least even a good AJ. So that's why I'm having a bit more hope with regards to AJ. He come up against a good Usyk, and I'll rank Usyk's performance an 8 out of 10. he still has a couple of gears to go up, but not that. Like I'm talking, he's not going to do anything like gravely different to what he originally done.
It's
But
so difficult for me to say, like, when is a fighter looking good and when are they not. Like, people say this about the Klitschko that fought Fury and AJ, but for me, it's difficult to tell because is it that AJ wasn't that good, or did Usyk just not make him look that good?
For the rounds that Usyk won convincingly, that I agree with you on that point. But there was quite a few rounds in between that Usyk took a couple of rounds off here and there where AJ it was just tentative. He was gun shy. He barely
but again,
barely threw power shots.
I'll go back to that point where I said Usyk buzzed him a couple of times. From AJ's perspective, if you're in that ring, you would be gun shy. You're thinking this guy's taking it slow, but I know he can bang. He's clipped me a couple of times already. So I don't know how much it is that AJ looked bad as it is that Usyk made him look bad.
I think Usyk fought well. At that time, I rated 8 out of 10 performance from Usyk. 8 or a 9 out of 10 because I think Usyk. I've seen a better versions of Usyk or better things at Usyk at a more consistent level. But I think it was at an 8 out of 10. I think, but AJ was a 3. I think, and that's a high 3 because I ain't gonna lie, I probably scored it a 2 out of 10.
I mean, I guess we'll really know I think they're saying the fight's gonna happen in April. I mean, if Usyk does it to him again, you can't be telling me that AJ doesn't look that good. It's got to be that Usyk made him look like that.
No, if AJ looks good, but Usyk just does what he has to do. Because the thing is, what I mean by looking good was Usyk slipping power shots that AJ was doing and coming back and counter punching him with all of those shots, like all the rounds.
That to me is what AJ has never faced before. Like, he's never faced a really good, really fast, genuinely technically brilliant fighter like that.
I even done a fight study straight afterwards, and I watched the fight and I slowed it down and I pinpointed. Okay, you backed him up into a corner, and AJ was just one time he backed him up into the corner, and AJ was just standing there like this, like vibrating, yeah. But he weren't actually from. When when you play a game, yeah, and it was like select the weapon, yeah, but you just stand there like this, yeah. But you're not actually in the game, but you're just selecting the character. You're like this, yeah. That's what he was doing. AJ backed him up into a corner, yeah. He was in range to throw a perfect jab, 1-2. He could have thrown right, left, right. He could have thrown 1-2 hook. He could have thrown a whole heap of combinations in that short period of time, and just opted like this. He escorted him up basically. There was another period of time where it was like on the fourth round or third or fourth round, where Usyk, it was like this. He had his eyes focused on the floor. He both gloves on the forehead. AJ could have just stepped in, hooked, and uppercut like he usually does. Hook, uppercut, or whichever tactic that he could have done, but he decided...
It's difficult to say though. Honestly, it's so difficult to say. Like, he could have, but again, I'll say that the reason I think he didn't is simply because Usyk would have countered him, and that's what I think was going through his mind.
I think when you have Chisora having a better performance against Usyk than you, there's a problem, because that shouldn't ever happen. You should have a better performance than
but I mean, styles make fights as well, and Chisora is just that style. And not only that, but again, Chisora had a better performance here because all the rounds were closer. But I'd say the number of rounds Usyk won is probably the same amount of rounds he won against AJ.
Yeah,
it's just those rounds were closer.
I agree, but I would say Chisora put in a better effort to beat Usyk than AJ did. No, I think Usyk. I think Chisora didn't respect Usyk. I think Usyk got into his head, and I think you are right with regards to he was tentative and he was scared of what combinations Usyk was going to throw. But when it comes to Chisora,
listen, Chisora's shown that he's an absolute dog. Even in that Parker fight, gets dropped again and again, gets hurt, whatever. He'll keep coming forward, but AJ doesn't have that same. He's a little bit scared to get knocked out like that. And yeah, like this guy's saying as well, Chisora is more of he's a brawler. That's his natural style. That's the only way he knows how to fight. I think AJ doesn't fight like that.
It's not like a technically difficult style to accomplish. What like have your arms like this and just start swinging and just going forward and
Yeah, but
biting
you
your
gotta have
Johnson.
the chin to do that. You gotta have the chin. You gotta have a bit of stamina about you. You gotta know that you're not gonna gas out.
Do you know what? It's not. I wouldn't say it's the chin. It's a mindset. It's a mindset because when you hear both fighters speak, Chisora is more confident in himself than AJ, and I think
Yeah, that's
AJ at that
definitely true.
time.
That I'm 100% of that. From what I've seen of Chisora, he is more confident of it. I don't know if it's the right, approach. It's gonna get him knocked out heavy, but
Chisora lost more times than AJ. Chisora got dropped more times prior to him coming up against Usyk. I would say a lot more times than AJ. The problem is here when it comes to the mindset. I think AJ's mindset was horribly wrong. The tactics, rubbish. The corner work, non-existent. That coupled with the complacency shown in the ring, I just think that it was a no good. But hopefully, do you want AJ to win? Okay, are you an AJ fan? Do you want AJ to win? Let's just say that.
I like
You,
AJ, but I like Usyk more. For me, if Usyk goes undisputed and retires, I'll be happy. I'll be happy with that. Okay,
oh,
what I said about Fury, he don't duck anyone. Usyk is definitely a guy that ducks no one.
I agree. We can agree on. We can agree on Usyk not ducking it because I'm with you on that one. I think Usyk is a top quality
That's
opponent.
a guy. If he beats Fury for the undisputed, he does, and he walks away. I'll be happy with that because that's a guy who deserves it. He fought everyone.
Did he?
Everyone he could. I mean, he fought
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
best. For me, he doesn't have to clear out the division. If he beats Fury and walks away, I'm fine with that because he's not even compared to these heavyweights, he's a small guy. He shouldn't even be there, but he's doing it.
I think that there are a couple of people that would cause him trouble. Do you know what's crazy? I think Dillian. Well, Dillian will do a better job than AJ did. I'll tell you that for free. Dillian will do a better job than what AJ did at the Tottenham Stadium. No
He'd come for a
questions
fight,
asked.
but you know how his jab and high guard style.
Yeah.
I don't see that working against Usyk. I think Usyk slips him all day long and he probably knocks him out. I think Usyk is so many. I think he'll take a brawler. He's got the right style. He just hasn't got the chin, basically, to if he goes aggressive, he just hasn't got the chin. His new style where he jabs, he stays behind the jab, that will work against Usyk.
I agree. I agree on that part, but hopefully AJ wins, and I'm with AJ 100%. But it's been a good stream, man. It's been a good stream, man. What's your name, brother? I forgot. I didn't even catch your name, man.
Akib, it's good to meet you, man.
Akib. Good to meet you, Akib. Yeah, I'm doing a stream as well. Friday boxing tier list. Okay, this one might be controversial because the last time I done it, yeah, I had a lot of people messaging me saying, "Yo, bro, what you like? You got my man where? Nah, where is it? Yeah, boxing tier list. Yeah, bear
Don't
in
worry.
mind, ignore the thumbnail in terms of where I placed everybody because it was just random places. Like that was just
Don't
what I
worry. As
put.
long as Dylan comes under that fringe world challenger title, I think it's all good. Yeah.
We'll talk about Friday. Friday night. Friday 8 p.m. We're gonna talk about because that one, yo, I'm gonna get so much sick for it because I'm putting some people. I wanted to do it after the Ortiz fight, Ortiz versus Charles Martin, because with Ortiz, I had a big question mark on him because I rated him quite low, whereas other people rated him in the US, they rated him quite highly. So I wanted to wait till this fight in particular to see where he is, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but where he's at now to where Deontay Wilder fought him is very different. So
that's true. That's true. I'd also have to take some people out of that list, like Povetkin and people like that. But it's all good. Yeah. Well, Akib, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you very much. Yeah. And big yourself up as well. Okay.
no worries, man. Good chat. See you.
Big up, big up, big up. All right, guys. Boom. Chisora scared of nobody. I agree. Also, guys, yeah, if you haven't done already, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I posted a picture earlier on. Where is it? Where is the picture, bro? Earlier on, 80% aren't subscribed. So if you guys can click the subscribe button, I'll be absolutely grateful for you guys as well. Okay. But yeah, it's been a great chat with regards to overall. AJ got to come with violent intentions. Do you know what it is? I know it might sound bad, yeah. I know it might sound bad, but literally yesterday or 2 days ago, I done a where is it? 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 I'm gonna post the video as well up here, yeah. Share, copy link. Alright, I've done a video, yeah. Hold on. Hopefully that comes through, yeah. I done a video like literally a few days ago on Monday, no, on Saturday, and one of my top 5 predictions of 2022, which I thought was going to take place, is I think AJ is going to be Usyk. I think AJ has become undisputed this year. And I know that was a wild prediction because I had to do some wild predictions. I wasn't going to do like, oh, by the way, I think Dillian Whyte is going to come up against Tyson Fury, or for example, Usyk is going to be AJ the second time. Like it's already happened, so I'm not going to predict something that is quite easily and obvious thing to predict. But that was one of my predictions that I did. So let me know if you guys agree, disagree. Let me know. Subscribe to Off the Camera Spots. And it's been a great stream, guys. Yeah, we've been going for 1 hour and 1 hour and. Do you know what? Let's just keep it going. 5 to 10 minutes. Let's go 10 minutes. Yeah. Now I know AJ is gonna lose. Yo. My predictions have been good, you know. Since that, I would say it's been good. Okay. In terms of because let me just see. Hold on, the boxing calendar. What has it been? No, not Formula One. Boxing calendar. Let's go back a bit. All right. In terms of where is it? There it is. Boxing results and schedule. It doesn't show. It don't show. But I've got a few ones right. I got Chisora one right. Park. I think Parker's gonna win a point. No, I thought Parker was gonna knock him out. Sorry, 10th round. I got that one right. I got the Terrence Crawford one right. I got the Fury one right 2 weeks later. I got a lot of people thought Deontay Wilder. I got that one right. What else? I barely got anything wrong. I got the Craig Richards one right straight afterwards. Katie Taylor boys done that. I got bruv. Thank you, bro. Thank you. This one, this was a bit technical. I did get it right, but at the same time, okay. During the fight week, I said, "Yo, like I think, I think during fight week, I think Travis was talking about, OTC, like don't predict, yeah, because we want Yard to." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I'm saying, "I won't predict, yeah, I won't predict." But earlier, if you check pretty much the rest of the earlier prior to that from the year or whatever it is, I would say that what's it called? That Yard was going to knock out Linden, because I thought like Linden benefited from the circumstances of the first fight. So I was right on that one. I knew it was going to be a knockout. If you asked me, like if you paid me to give you a prediction, I would have gave you Yard knockout. But I would have said round 6. I would not have said round 4. I would have said round 6 personally. And Crawford has too much IQ. Agreed. I agree. Crawford's IQ top. I would say goes Canelo, Usyk, Crawford, based on achievements. In terms of IQ, in terms of just an IQ top or pound for pound list, okay, people with high, boxing, street sights ability. Number 1, Vasily Lomachenko. Number 2, Terence Crawford. I had another guy in there, but Big Bad Thing has been pissed me off recently, so I'm not going to mention his name. You guys might know, yeah. He's the one who. No, I'm not going to mention. You guys know, man. The guy, the ferret. I'm going to call him the ferret. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I had him quite highly in terms of just skill, just pure skill, but is what it is. Yeah. Crawford is a powerful pound. It's a shame about his age. Yeah. Is it a shame? I think he can. He's become undisputed at 140. By the time he retires, he could become undisputed at 147. Well, unless what's his name? Ugas is coming up against Spence. When I'm mentioning his name, but you're right, untraceable. You're right, yeah, you're right. That ferret blood, yeah. But yeah, Crawford is a powerful, yeah. Crawford could definitely become. How many belts has he got? Let me just check the belts. Okay. Hold on. I think he's only got one belt. So it's Ugas, Crawford, Spence. Who's got the other belt? I think one of them's got two belts. I don't know who's got two belts though. It's got to be. I think it's Errol. I think Errol's got two belts. I don't want to say it, but I think Errol might have two belts. Hold on, I've got it up here. It's not super welterweight. Errol, yeah, I think Errol's got the belt. Yeah, Errol's got two belts. So I think there's only 3 world champions, and so I think when Ugas faces against Spence, Ugas, I hope he wins. I hope he beats Spence, but I doubt it. But if he does, then he'll be more than open to fighting. No, but there's a mandatory straight afterwards. So we're not going to get them to fighting because there's 2 fights ahead of that. There's the mandatory position, unless they agree a unification split. It's still politics. You guys get the gist. Lomachenko has made a statement. Made it, Lomachenko. Listen, bruv. I done the lightweight rankings. Yeah, I'm always saying check the video. Yeah, I say that a lot, but I done a lightweight champion ranking. Yeah, and I ranked it. Vasily Lomachenko in at number 1, George Kambosos in at number 2, Lopez in at number 3, Tank number 4, Haney 5, Isaac Cruz 6, Ryan Garcia 7, Linares 8, Kobe 9, Jojo Diaz 10. I'm not counting Javier Fortuna. No, I'm not counting him. Loba is still number 1. Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that one. I think Haney beats Kambosos. I agree, but I can't put Haney above Kambosos. The reason why is because Kambosos is undisputed champion. Haney's done nothing compared to Kambosos in terms of who he's beaten. Teofimo Lopez is a good name to beat, to be honest with you. So I can't put him lower than number 2. He's the undisputed champion. Like if I put him anywhere under the lower number 2, it's a bit like I've got an agenda. Okay, and I think he will give Haney competitive fight. But once I saw Loma, I can't deny it. I can't deny the talent. You know when something's undeniable? Like, for example, if you see, all right, Floyd Mayweather is a guy that I weren't always a fan of. I actually was watching his fights in the hope that he loses. Yeah, and one of my favorite fighters is Maidana, and I really hoped that he beat it. But I was a huge fan of Maidana. Yeah, I don't know why it was. It was a Mexican, style that I kind of grew to love in boxing. Okay, it's the one style that's the one style that I really like. Okay, the Mexican style, but he ended up becoming one of the best of all time. So I can't be mad at it. The Queen always rises to the top. Haney probably second for me. Yeah, Haney second. I don't think Haney will be Tank. I don't think KD will beat Tank, in my opinion. Will he? Nah. Nah, I don't think he'll beat Tank. Yeah, I don't think he'll beat Tank because I think Jojo Diaz, Linares, when they put their punches together and landed, they really hurt Devin. And I think Tank Davis will maul him, in my opinion. And I don't like the way that Floyd, Mayweather Productions, what they call the body team. Yeah, I don't like the way they conduct business in terms of keeping it in house. It's a sport, and you've got to compete against everyone. You don't just keep everything in house. It don't make sense. It's a bit like saying Man City will play the academies players, or they'll play like New York City Jets, or they'll play bloody their other team that they've got. Like, come on, man. You got to have competitive fights against tough level opponents, but the biggest problem is 135 is they don't fight each other. Do you know? Do you know what's crazy? It's not like they don't want to fight each other. Because I disagree that when people say, yeah, this person ducked that person. I think that Bob Arum. Okay, I think that Bob Arum won't let Lomachenko fight any Tom, Dick, and Harry. Okay, I really highly doubt that Lomachenko will duck anybody, given the fact that he has had like around 400 amateur fights, and he's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. So this guy is not scared of a bit of a challenge. I ain't gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you, yeah. And the way I hear him speak, he's not scared of a challenge. It's Bob Arum that's the problem. Bob Arum campaigned for him to be elevated to a franchise champion. Again, that's the problem. The Tank Davis, Al Heyman. Not Al Heyman, Floyd Production, all of them, man. That's the problem because all they're worried about is money. They're not worried about titles, accomplishments, beating top level opponents. They're just focused on generating cash flow. So that's what they care about. Ryan Garcia, I'm really leaning on Ryan because he suffered from mental health, and I take that kind of stuff seriously. Some people don't, but I take it seriously in terms of his mental health. I believe that he's because I've heard not whispers, but I saw a video of him say that he's just come off Twitter because it was messing up his mental well-being. So I already knew after that. I knew that he was a fragile person in terms of his mindset, etc. And I knew that he could be susceptible for potentially mental health struggles from 2 years ago. But he didn't have the help and he didn't have the support from Oscar De La Hoya because Oscar De La Hoya is too busy doing stupidness. Yeah, no guidance for a 21-year-old. Devin Haney's the only one that really wants to fight people, but nobody wants to fight Devin. But George Kambosos is the angel, man. If it wasn't for George Kambosos, like we wouldn't even be like I would just give up on the 135 division. But George, I think that he would fight Devin Haney next. Afterwards, if Devin Haney beats him, which I think that Devin Haney should beat him, Devin Haney could hold the keys to the belt. No, actually, I think Devin's going to vacate. Hold on. Haney can still get his 23. I don't think Haney is going to. Tank's powers is questionable. Okay, let me know why. And let me know why, because I disagree in that. I don't think his power is questionable. I think he's got good power. I think he's got a lot of skill as well. But let me know why. I think I'd love to know how you got to that conclusion. Haney can still be better. He's 23 years of age. Agreed, but he's only fighting one more fight against Kambosos at 135, and after that he's stepping up. I don't think that he's going to do any more. What's it called again? Any more fighting at 135, unless it's like Lomachenko or something along those lines. But I doubt it. Yeah, he's only fighting Kambosos. Maybe if you're lucky, one more fight. He's growing out of that weight class. Okay, so he's gonna go up to 140. So is Teofimo Lopez. But I think they're all just going to go up to 140. So we're going to be back to square one again. Yo, we're gonna be back to square one. They're all gonna go up to 140. Who? Wait, Haley, Ryan Gus. But they're all gonna go up to 140 eventually, man. They're all the same thing, man. No, I think I read that. Yeah, it's because of their promoters. Not all of them, because I don't think that Eddie Hearn is ducking them. I think they're trying to cut Eddie out. Anything to do with Eddie, cut him out. And the TV networks, agreed. TV networks are a huge problem. No, do you know what? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's the TV networks. Come to think of it, the TV networks just want to put on good fights for money. They don't care in terms of who fights on their network and who doesn't. They just want their fighters on their network. Well, that it makes sense. But let me rephrase it. If you do a dual partnership and still show the broadcaster fight on their network, then it's all good. I don't hear no network talking when it comes to the Premier League or La Liga or anything like that. I don't hear none of this malarkey on Sky Sports, etc. Okay, maybe that they're not showing the fight or not showing the match, or maybe the angles of the cameras a bit mad. But apart from that, nothing else. Okay, so I'm putting it down to the promoters. I'm not putting it down to anything else. Okay. What about the UFC? The UFC, because of the networks. I don't think it's the networks that's the problem. I think it's the promoters. That's the main issue. Because the network, they put on Floyd versus Logan Paul. They don't care. Like, these don't just do anything for money. They could care less. Bob Arum loves the money. I don't know, you know. He does, but when it comes to a money fight, and when the money fight's presented to him, sometimes he just opts a different way. So I don't know. I think he does. And you know what's crazy? I do hope that Bob retires this year. I don't want him to just. I know he's 90 years old. I don't want him to be in the sport up until the point where he's being dragged into hospital, and that's where he retires in the hospital bed. No, I want him to retire properly. Okay. Look at me showing compassion to bloody Bob Arum, blood. Yeah. After the madness he's done, you know, bruv. I've done it, yeah. A video last year. Bob Arum turns 90 video. Has Bob Arum been good for the sport? Let me tell you something, yeah. When I looked into this guy in great detail, I just said, you know what? Bob Arum, he's much older than, well, of course, he's older than me. So everything I've heard from Bob Arum has been from really and truly the heavy, well, from the Mike Tyson era to a bit, like a little bit until today, okay? But I didn't know all of it, so I needed to look back at it. When I done my research, Bob Arum, he's done some bad stuff. Okay, did you know? Yeah, Bob Arum has been fined because he, by the IBF, I think it was the IBF. Yeah, um, he served a fine because he bribed one of the officials. Well, this is the joke here. Him and another person, okay, bribed the official. Okay, I think it was the co-promoter. They bribed one of the boxing officials. Yeah, the other gentleman, he the bribe money, he paid the bribe money. I think it was about 200K or something like that. Yeah, the other gentleman, or was it 500? One of those two. The other gentleman paid up the money. Bob Arum didn't even pay the money. Yeah, he didn't even come up with the funds. Yeah, they just find his ass anyway. Yeah, so Bob Arum has been done dirty for a lot of bad stuff. He said some bad stuff about he said a couple of racist stuff to white people. Yeah, he's done a couple of bad stuff. Okay. Where were we? Oh crap. I think I've missed a lot of you guys. Chats. Apologies. Lobo needs to get out that top rank contract like Crawford. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Don't really think it makes much of a difference. I just think, yeah, I agree. But where's he gonna go? To the zone, the UK, Eddie Hearn. If Eddie Hearn lands him, it's possible. But the only person that I can see him going to is the Usyk promotion. or with Alex Krasuk with them, man. Okay, because they're brothers at all. Yeah. Loma is big anyway, so he doesn't need a promoter. I don't think he's big enough that he doesn't need a promoter. I think that's more like an AJ. I think anyone after AJ needs a promoter. And anyone after AJ, Canelo, Jake Paul, the rest of and Tyson Fury maybe, all of them else need, no, not even Tyson Fury. The rest of them need a promoter. George, yep, definitely fresh air. This guy's been the guy, bro. Pick up, bro. Do you know what's crazy? I really, if he comes up against Lomachenko, and I like Loma, but I really hope that George wins because I was researching the fight with Teofimo Lopez before I've done a preview on it, and he's come from a difficult circumstance. He was, I think he was about age 9 years old. He was bullied because he was fat, basically, and around age 11, around age 11 to 12, I think that's when he started boxing to lose that weight to not be called fat because I think he was getting bullied for that. So I think his dad wanted to teach, like take him to boxing classes to help him with that. He done that alongside rugby league, or not rugby, I think it's rugby, out there in Australia. Done that up until the age of 18. I think he could have been a professional rugby player, and decided to go for his passion to be a boxer. And you know what? Even though he's been through, I think his mother. No, that's Caleb Plant. But I think I was hearing it. He's been through some difficult circumstances growing up, so I really wanted him to do well. I win against TP Lopez, even though I like Tio as well. Devin will move up. Yeah, you know what somebody's head is just overtly fat compared to their body. You know that guy needs to move up a weight class. If you know what I'm talking about, his knockouts are guys who have moved up in terms of Devin or in terms of Oh, you're talking about in terms of Tank Davis. You said his knockouts are guys who have moved up. Interesting. Interesting. I still think there's power there. Like when I saw Deontay Wilder knocking out, I don't know, 35 tomato cans, I still think that he still had power. So I think he still has power to an extent. Loma, but also you have to take into account the last fight. I'm not counting it because his last fight was against Isaac Cruz, and Isaac Cruz is a tough Mexican. So I don't think a lot of people would have knocked him out. Well, maybe it's the weight class that's draining his power as well. That's another factor. Loma is the only one who won't move up to 140. I think Loma could. Yeah, no, doubt it. To be fair, you're right. You're right. You're right. The only way he can move up to 140 is probably in the next 2-3 years when he's really old and he can't maintain the weight class at 135. But I doubt it. You're right. I agree. You're right. Rest will. Okay. The zone has pissed off everyone. Ortiz versus Martin was a piss take. Ortiz versus Martin. That was a piss take in terms of why the audacity for them to put it on a pay-per-view. But I'm gonna have to put some accountability on the boxing fans in the US. Like, why on earth are they paying for a pay-per-view? If the demand is there, they're just gonna keep supplying it. It's like if Bossman in the shop ups his water price to £1 and people still buy it at the same rate as they were before it was up about 50p, then I can't really blame man for that. You know, it's all supply and demand. The only one who embrace all fighters, even the ones not on their network. It's not the zone, it's Eddie. Because there was the same stuff on Sky Sports that Eddie was doing. It's not actually what's it called? The zone. Because Eddie makes the fights. Eddie's team is the one who match makes them. He was doing the same thing on the whole on Sky Sports where they were doing expansions out in the US and bringing random people on shows and signing this person and that person. I think around the time that they did matching not matching the fight camp, that's where we discovered Ebony Bridges. That's where we discovered a lot of people during the fight camp. So I'm gonna give it to Eddie, man. OTC Unplayed. I'm not sure what I said. I can't remember what I said. It was about around 10 minutes ago. I can't remember what I said. But glad you laughed. Tank, the 8 stars. Yeah, the 8 superstars. It doesn't surprise me. It's Eddie. Eddie wants to make all the fights anyway. Yeah, man. It's not. Do you know what? Yo, like, yeah, I shouldn't be mocking people. You're right. I should be mocking people, but sometimes I just like, yo, oh, the Devin Haney scenario. Nah, Devin, I like Devin, man. He's a cool brother. Devin comes across as a cool dude, but I think he's getting into the whole what's it called, sports star lifestyle with regards to the rappers lifestyle, and I just hope that he doesn't go down that whole rabbit hole and that doesn't affect his mentality, because it can easily do. Um, but I think that Devin's got a good support system with his dad. If Devin never, the thing is, the difference between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, Devin Haney has got Bill Haney that guides him. Ryan Garcia has got Oscar De La Hoya, but big man, like Oscar De La Hoya is out here with bloody strippers and stuff like that. Like, he's not the guy to look up to. Who's he also going to look up to? Logan Paul. Come on, man. Like, no, his dad. Like, Eddie will probably have a third group of boxers. We'll come back to that. His dad seems like like Bill Haney, bro. You can tell, man. You can tell. You can tell. Like, if somebody's sitting there, and you know what I knew was serious when they first signed to Eddie, and they didn't just have, Devin Haney with chains and stuff like that to begin with. They had him there. They had Bill Haney there. And Bill Haney was talking on his behalf. He was promoting him. He was talking to him, and he was guiding him. He was showing that role. Okay, when they were out there against Georgia Diaz, his dad was the one talking. His dad was the one saying, "Yeah, do this, and giving him words of encouragement." But prior to that, they were praying together. So I think Devin Haney's like his support system, and he's got like Ben Davidson, who seems like a calm, collected character. I know you might have done for a customer, I think earlier last year. I can't remember. He said that he sounds like he's reading an audio book, but regardless, he needs to. It all depends on Ryan, to be honest with you. It all depends on Ryan. He has Reynoso and Canelo. He's got Oscar De La Hoya. He's still with Oscar. That's the problem. He's not. I wouldn't say he's with Canelo, because if you were with Canelo, he won't be with Oscar. And with regards to Canelo, okay, I would describe it as this. Okay, if you're African or Asian, you know exactly what I'm talking about, yeah. And it probably does the same across the entire world, yeah. But if you're definitely African and you're definitely Asian, you know exactly what I'm about to say, okay? A person who grew up in the US or grew up in the Western world, okay, born and raised in the Western world, has like can't really fully connect with a person from the native country. So when you're hearing Canelo trying to motivate Ryan Garcia, that's like an uncle, yeah, who's in Squires, yeah, eating fufu and pounded jam, yeah, trying to motivate Anthony Joshua. It's a different ballgame. Like, the connection is on a different level, and sometimes people don't like. It's a bit like if somebody was trying to motivate me or inspire me. I won't need, like, it wouldn't be those uncles from back home. It wouldn't be them. It will be somebody who maybe looks like me or somebody from like an African background who grew up in the UK. Because I will kind of look at their mindset. That the way of thinking is a bit different, if that makes sense. The hardships are different. The environment, everything is different. So I think that because of that disconnect, you see Ryan Garcia chilling with Logan Paul at them, man. So if Ryan Garcia was fully motivated by Canelo, I'm pretty sure all of his mandem will be Spanish dons sitting there drinking tequila, bro. That would be the circle of people that he would be surrounding himself with, and he's not, which leads me to believe that the connection there is like an uncle connection, if that makes sense. Like uncle, like you know what I'm talking about. If it like or somebody who grew up in a Jamaican household in the UK, right, and they're listening to a yardman, okay, that's like the relatability with regards to the AJ, not the AJ, sorry, the Ryan Garcia Canelo connection. Ryan doesn't need Oscar, in my opinion. I think Oscar's is a is a problem with regards to Ryan Garcia because Oscar's been a difficult person to deal with in terms of his negotiation skills in his fights when he was on the rise. Team Oscar was a difficult team to negotiate with. Okay, in terms of negotiating for fights, when Oscar was at the pinnacle, this guy was a difficult person to deal with to the extent where Floyd had to take a huge pay cut to fight Oscar De La Hoya, but he took a chance on himself to win the belts. Okay, and that's what made it. That's what made Floyd, or that's what begun the journey, shall we say, to where he is, or the legacy that he's created. So Oscar, Vladimir Klitschko, these sort of guys, you don't want them managing you. They will literally Floyd, another one. Yeah, people who are difficult people to negotiate with, who often people turn around and say, "Yo, that guy has like negotiation skills. Is a difficult guy. Like you got to stay away from." Ryan has fallen out with Oscar quite a few times. When it comes to mentorship, right, guys, this is very key, very important, right? In any walk of life, whether it's boxing, bike riding, flipping, synchronized swimming, bloody investment field, regardless of what field that you're in. When it comes to mentors or people who you're seeking as professors, there has to be three components for you to fully get what they're talking about in terms of fully be a recipient to the information that they're trying to give to you. Number one, you have to respect them. You have to respect them. If you're going up against them in any way, shape, or form, you've lost respect for that person straight away. If a mentor's telling you do this and do that and do that, yeah, and you're arguing with them, then you lost all respect for them. It's a bit like somebody fixing your car and opening up the bonnet, and you don't know anything about cars, but you just somehow got something bad to say or arguing and butting yourself in. Same scenario with regards to the AJ Lennox. Lennox can't teach AJ how to how to be musical or be a mentor to him because AJ doesn't respect Lennox, and Lennox hasn't shown that he fully respects AJ. So respect is at the basis of mentorship, and then it becomes trust. It becomes trust and knowledge. Okay, trust. You gotta trust that person because in boxing, your life depends on it. It pretty much because you're in the ring, you get your head punched in. So when it comes to business or regardless, or you got an investment, you put all your money on one thing. Yeah, you gotta have to at least trust that person. Okay, that's like the bare minimum. If you don't trust that person, I'm gonna be straight up honest. You ain't gonna listen to a single thing he says. Try this. Think about a person that you don't trust, and try to tell yourself to listen to that person. or trust in their results of teaching you. Okay, so and they have to know what they're talking about through their actions, through their through what they've been through their results that they've shown. And I think Oscar De La Hoya is not a good mentor for Ryan Garcia, in my opinion. That was a bit deep. Ryan has fallen out with Oscar a few times. Yet that might. And I think there's another one before that. Crap, I think I said I was going to come back to one. He says Oscar promotion wise, but when it comes to improving as a fighter, he has the resources. Yeah, Ryan Garcia has the resources, man. Do you know what? I've got a soft spot for Ryan. That's a very. There's not a lot of fighters that I've got a soft spot for, but Ryan Garcia is definitely one of them because he's talking about. Okay, the difference between him and Tyson Fury regards to mental health. I believe both of them have suffered from mental health, and I believe both of them probably still suffer to today. Okay, but the thing is, Fury has said a lot of contradictory stuff and has, how do I say it, has made himself less likable, excluding that those factors. He's ducked out of fights. He's cussing this person and calling out that person and mocking these people and etc. So, and then there's a lot of things like people don't like about Tyson Fury. Okay, so I don't think the mental health stuff makes a huge difference because it like the hole that he's probably dug himself before he mentioned that it was a big hole. But Ryan Garcia, because of his age and the fact that he's super young, and the fact that he got injury as well, and I don't know, maybe I'm around the same age as him, so maybe I connect with him more, other than Tyson Fury. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Uh, Hold on. If Ryan beats the top dogs in the division, he automatically becomes a huge star. Huge star. I think he's a huge star. I think he's a huge star to be good with. I just in terms of do you know what? I think Ryan, I just hope that he just fights again this year. So something good, man. Because I want Ryan to do well. That's one guy I would say I'm rooting for compared to the other guys. Okay? Uh Ryan following and etc. It's always big. Ryan's following, yeah, Ryan's following is big. It's not as big as Tank Davis, comparable. Well, I think Ryan Garcia's. Let's just check. Hold on, Instagram. I know Instagram is not the beginning and end of what it gives us a understanding. Um, Ryan Garcia. I think he's off Instagram. Good. I hope he is. Oh no, he's not. I thought he was off. Right. I thought he was off Instagram. 8.8 mil. Okay. Tank. Where the hell is Shavonte Tank Davis? Rav, Javonte Davis, I can't find him. Somebody let me know. I think Javonte Davis is off. He's off Instagram. He's off socials. Yeah, he's bigger than Tank. Yet. He's only 23. 23, 24. He's about the same age as me. 23, 24. Like, yeah. I'll put an asterisk on it because he's 23, 24, but he's beaten Luke Campbell. I think he's number one at the WBC. I mean, I've got the rankings here. No, he's not. Not WBC. Where's the one number one at? No, he's number two because he ducked the mandatory. Maloma is number one. Okay. So he's number 2 WBC. He's top 10 lightweights in the world. I don't think he's that bad because there's people at 23 years old that are nowhere near that level yet. I wouldn't say Daniel Dubois is top, I don't know, 10 heavyweights. And I would say heavyweights is a less stacked division than the lightweights. So I would also take him a pinch of salt. He's been off for almost a year, undefeated boxer. I'm gonna cut him a bit of slack, but I hope he doesn't push it back into my face and listens to Oscar, because I'm gonna be pissed if he does. Okay, 3.2 to yeah, that's about 4 times as much. No, almost 3 times as much. So yeah, now Dubois isn't there yet. See, yeah, exactly. So that's from my perspective. I just think Ryan Garcia isn't far off, as people say, because he's not fought in a year or well over a year. A lot of people are probably thinking, okay, yeah, he's fallen back behind. He would be left behind, but it's not that. It's not that much. He's 23 years of age. Haney is going to go up straight after this fight anyway. Lobo is close to retirement, so don't really count that much of a difference. Lobo's got a couple of more fights left in him before he retires. Who else? Teofimo Lopez is going to go up one weight class. Like, you could easily come in and secure, I don't know, a vacant belt or whatever it is, become a world champion, go up and beat. I don't know. The thing is, Ryan Garcia is extremely good. I think a lot of people don't give him the plaudits and the credit for it. Ryan Garcia is very, very good. I think he's beaten Lomachenko, not Lomachenko, he's beaten David Haney in the amateurs a couple of times. And they fought 6 times. I think it's 3 apiece, or they fought 4. Like, it's very competitive. So from that standpoint, I think Ryan Garcia is good, man. I think people need to get off his case a bit, but he needs to show a bit more commitment and dedication to the sport. That's in my opinion. He's the 23-year-old kid, man. Like, come on, man. I thought Lobo was number 1 in the WBO. Yeah, it changed. It changed. Last time I checked, it was, but I think after the Lobo fight, which happened a couple of weeks ago, it changed. So the rankings are. Let me share my screen. So let me put this on this side. Hopefully that doesn't mess up. Let me share my screen, and then hopefully you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. So this is the rankings. Let me know if you guys can see. This is the rankings with regards to the lightweight division. So let me zoom in a little bit. Lopez will take a picture. So hold on, this is wrong. No, this is right. This is the franchise champion. Ignore Lopez part. This is all messed up. But yeah, Ryan Garcia's number 2 here. And that's it. Because they changed it. He's not ranked highly anywhere else. Where the flip is he? Where the hell is he? Huh? Have I missed something? He's not ranked anywhere else. Not even in the top 10. Oh, these are nonsense, man. I think these are just taking a piss. No, they're just mocking it. They're just mocking it now. Yeah, ignore what I said. These are... Yeah. These are just mocking it. Stop sharing. All right, we're back in. Yeah, to start mocking it. First up, Mr. Ryan's gonna big up Tony, man. Subscribe to the channel as well if you haven't done already. It helps out a lot. Yeah, definitely subscribe. Hold on. You subscribe to Off the Canvas Boxing. Really helps out a lot. Okay. Welcome to the channel, guys. Dubois has time. By the time he's 27, sorry, the top dog at heavyweight will either retire or be at the end. Agreed. Even Joyce. He's 27 in about 4 years. He's about the same age. He's about 27 in about 4 years. No, 3 years, sorry. Dillian will be 36. AJ will be 34, 35. Fury will be 38, 39. Fury will be gone. Jose Wilder, 40. No. Yeah, 40. 39, 40. Alexander Usyk, 38, 36, 37. Yeah, that's the case. Ryan gets hate too much. Another person that gets hate too much, okay, is Campbell Hatton. Campbell Hatton gets way too much hate for my liking. He's a 19-year-old kid, man, and people are going in on him like you would have thought he killed two, but you would have thought he killed two people in a drive-by shooting and done some nonsense. The way people are cussing him, yeah. But I'm always empathetic to some of these people like Ryan Garcia with them. Bro, like 8.8 million followers, man. Come on, man. And people, and how many of them are just cussing him regularly? And he's just gullible. He comes across a bit more gullible. So I could definitely see how some of them affected him mentally. David Haney gets violated. Agreed. I want to know what the US think of Devin Haney. I want to know what they think of him. Okay. Lobo or Haney next for Cambosis. Haney for Cambosis. If Cambosis wins and beats Haney, then Loma. If Cambosis loses against Haney, then Haney would vacate the belt and squander off or fight Loma. Hopefully it's Haney. But thank you very much. Bruv, I was only supposed to be here for an hour and it's been 2 hours and 38 minutes. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Like I said earlier, I think it's about 80% of you guys aren't subscribed. Okay. So if you guys can click the subscribe button, that would be absolutely amazing. Don't forget, guys, this Friday, 8 p.m. Friday, 8 p.m. we have a tier list ranking live at Off the Canvas Boxing. It might be controversial, but F it, we're gonna go for it. Yeah, so definitely, guys, if you haven't clicked the subscribe button, what are you guys waiting for? Subscribe, like I didn't even say like the video. Yo, I'm taking the piss. How could I forget to say like the video? This whole time I've been here for 2 hours of 40 minutes. I'll not say like a video. Like it, okay, guys. And we're just gonna end it there. Peace, love, and prosperity, guys. I'm gonna see you guys in a bit. Peace.